Hey, welcome to KocoSports Weekly Raw Review. I am the huge one, Dave Coco from KocoSports.com or KocoSports.net. It takes you to the same place. It's where the world comes to kick ass. Your home for combat sports, and above all, where it's okay to be a passionate fan. And I obviously have to start working out. Just that long introduction, I start getting blown up like for a hot tag. Well, wow. we got Wrestling Rantin'. He'll be joining us for a special appearance. Wrestling Rantin', I'm glad you're safe. A lot is going on in your neighborhood. I was a little bit worried about you. And we also have the American a la carte. Gentlemen, plug your stuff. And when I give you a chance to do win, loss, or tie. Internet infantry, please down in the comments put win, loss, or tie, what you thought about it. We will go from left to right in the batting order. So, the American a la carte, welcome back. I'm glad you're here. Usually Mr. TNA, but you decided to join us for WWE. American a la carte, win, loss, or tie, and where can the Internet Infantry find you when you're not talking wrestling on this channel?
Win, loss, or tie, definitely not a win.
All right, we eliminated that, so we're down to a loss and a tie, folks.
It's frustrating because it wasn't bad, but it wasn't. I think
you're trying to say tie. Just give it up, man.
I don't want to give it a tie because it sucked kind of too. It was a weak loss. It was a weak
loss. They almost did enough to give a tie. All right. And where can they find you when you're not talking wrestling on this channel?
The THEE American a la carte on YouTube and Twitter.
All right, thank you very much. In Wrestling Rantin', you've been really busy with just Monday Night Raw, more than just Monday Night Raw, as your city seems to be lighting up the Facebook and everyone has an opinion about it. I'm just glad you're safe. We're going to try to stick with just wrestling because pro wrestling should be a distraction from the horrible place we call the real world. So hopefully KocoSports can be your distraction. Win, loss, or tie, and tell them about your channel.
From what I saw of Raw tonight, I have to give it a tie. We'll get into that later, of course, when we go match-by-match summary. But this is Wrestling Rantin', based out of Baltimore, Maryland. And you can find me on webchannel24.com/wrestling with 3 S's. We have Twitter, Facebook, Google+, everything else on there, and our own YouTube channel that you can definitely check out our videos, top 10 list, usually brief reviews of Raw, pay-per-views, retrospectives, and all kinds of good stuff.
All right, awesome. And me, I don't know. We grade our shows win, loss, or tie. Some people say 5 stars, some people out of 10. I give it win, loss, or tie, but I think a loss isn't strong enough. Just disappointed. Disappointing. That's it. Like, I went in, I woke up crazy early because I don't sleep. I went to bed like at 3, woke up at 5, and I live in Tokyo, so morning time is Raw. I'm like, I got a couple hours to Raw. Let me see what's on Facebook. Oh, my God, is Wrestling Rantin' still alive? Second thing, I was like, no way, King of the Ring, sweet. I love King of the Ring. I grew up a WCW and NWA fan, and I didn't grow up a WWF fan, even though a lot of WWE defenders think everyone was a WWF fan. It's just not true. There was WCW and NWA fans, and to me, I just disappointed because I came in going, oh, they're going to have King of the Ring? Sweet, it's so simple. And I even said this in the Internet Infantry chat. You can get us on KocoSports.net. I even said this in the chat. I was like, it's so simple. How is WWE going to fuck it up? And they did. I don't know if it was already pre-announced because, like I said, I just woke up, heard King of the Ring, was excited. But when the second half of the tournament was going to be on the network, I'm okay with that. But I don't know. Did they pre-advertise that? Because it hit me like a ton of fucking bricks.
Yeah, they pre-advertised. They advertised it at the pay-per-view over the weekend. And the funny thing about that, I tweeted that to you and I think a couple other podcasters. I don't know which one of you guys had it, but I distinctly remember I was either talking to you or Booms, and we were talking about, they should have King of the Ring, and if they want to sell the network, we actually came up with this idea. Have the qualifying rounds on Raw, and then to get people to watch the network, put it on the network.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that, but for me, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I thought we were getting the whole tournament, because, like, when Orton cut his long-ass promo, when John Cena cut his long-ass promo, like, all right, but once we get past this, we're going to have King of the Ring. There's a tag main event. Okay, maybe the matches are short. What? Where's round 2? No one told me this. No one told me round 2. It was like, I went from, yeah, give WWE a chance. It's going to come back. Yeah, King of the Ring. I can't wait. Round 1? Excuse me? We're not having a whole tournament? It just hit me like a ton of bricks, and I wanted it to be good. You know what I mean? I think it's got to the point now where WWE is so bad that fans, we're not talking defenders, because defenders, literally, they can do anything, and you'll just accept it. I'm talking pro wrestling fans. I'll even go as far as sports entertainment fans. Anything that's not a WWE defender, I think deep down inside wants the product to be good. I think so. Like, Wrestle Renton, the American a la carte, granted, we probably pick on WWE more than most YouTubers, but with that said, at the end of the day, we just want it to be good, you know? Yeah. And it's just disappointing. I was just, I wanted it to be good. I was, like, excited. I was that. And, so my grade is disappointment. Now, please put in the comments win, loss, or tie. You can hit me up on Twitter at KocoSports. We will be going to live comments as much as we can. We try to be very interactive on this show. And we're also got KocoSports.net Internet Infantry Chat. So please put your comments down, and we will try to answer them as much as we can. And I'm hoping, you know when you see something online and you just hope it's not true? On Twitter and online, they're saying Vern Gagne passed away. And if that's true, rest in peace. He did the AWA. I was never a big AWA fan. I just had the action figures, and I remember going, man, I wish I could watch AWA. I don't think I had access to it in New Jersey at the time. And if you go, the WWE DVDs made a great AWA DVD that just told the story of it. It's one of their better DVDs. And Vern Gagne was the man behind that. So if the internet reports are right, rest in peace, and it's a sad day. And it's just, man, the whole world seems sad. WWE, we needed you. We needed you more than you needed us. We needed you to forget about our problems. And hopefully it did that. Hopefully it did that for some people. All right, let's have fun and fucking bitch and moan and complain like we always do. All right, we're going to break it down. It starts off with a promo, and
of course.
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah.
A match? No.
Well, and not only that, but, like, I do the same intro in the beginning of the podcast because you do that in radio. You know what I mean? I just grew up in radio, so you're like, hey, I'm the huge one, blah, 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 go to my site. All right. And, you know, usually radio, you have the same entrances. Sometimes some talk shows on television have the same entrances. But when it comes to a pro wrestling show or a television show or an entertainment show, I don't think you should be doing the same shit. Like, they cut this promo, and, like, you could solve this in a tweet. You know what I mean? It's just, nothing happened. Nothing. I don't fucking get these long promos. Same thing with John Cena. You know, John Cena, you're on a television show. You're not starting off a podcast, right? But we'll pick on John Cena when the John Cena time comes. Let's pick on Randy Orton and Seth Rollins. It was just completely worthless. I mean, American a la carte, did you get anything out of this opening promo besides fucking pure what the fuckness?
First of all, like, Roman Reigns came out and said, if I'm not mistaken,
Oh, sorry about that. My ears are messed up. I don't know if I couldn't hear you for the last minute.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Let me. Go ahead.
Well, the first thing is, I'm just really surprised that when Roman Reigns said, "I beat the Big Show, I should be in the main event spot," that Randy Orton and Seth Rollins just didn't look at each other and start laughing, just like, really, bro? Really? Like. And I guess that's a segue to him getting a triple threat shot getting already shoved back down our throats already. Thanks a lot, WWE. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't get it. Does people think it's good? Do people think it's good? Wrestling Ranton?
Yeah.
Just want to skip the open segment. There was words. There was nothing. They got a Justin Bieber gimmick that Green Day obviously loves. Or was that even later? I don't even know if that was in the opening segment.
I think that was later. No, it wasn't opening. I don't know. I don't remember. But, it doesn't surprise me that they went and tried to get Roman Reigns involved in this because, of course, coming out of Extreme Rules, you're trying to figure out what they're going to have for Payback, and you're not going to repeat Orton and Rollins. You'll repeat Cena and Rusev, but not Orton and Rollins. And so they had to find a way to get their Golden Boy back in there, and I think the problem I have with it is again, it's too soon. They really want to pull this trigger on Roman Reigns. And the problem with Roman Reigns is he's just started to get back to people liking him as a character. The boos have been diminishing, and now you're going to thrust him back in it again. I'm not so sure. The match with Big Show at Extreme Rules helped him, but I don't know, again, if they're ready for him to be in the main event spot, and I don't know. I can't predict this match right now. I guess we'll get to it later, but him being in that spot again, it feels a little forced. That's all I can really think of at the opening segment.
Yeah, and it's just, what this reminded me of back in the day, this used to be pre-show stuff. Like, everything they do now, opening segment, used to be pre-show. But now it's just like, hey, everybody, I'm glad to be here in Wisconsin. You know what I mean? It's just like, come on, dude. All right, let's skip opening segment. Nothing major about it. It's one of those things like, yeah, maybe there were some fans like, man, we need answers. But they didn't even deliver the answers. So let's say you lived in this kayfabe universe. You're like, what about the RKO? What about disqualifications? What about... No, none of that mattered. None of it. It's just, all right. Then we open up with the opening match, which is King of the Ring, and I'm still on high hopes. I'm like, yeah, baby. I'm like, that opening segment sucked, but tonight is King of the Ring, baby. High fives for everybody. I'm excited. I'm still high. I'm still happy. You got Dolph Ziggler versus Bad News Barrett. When I saw the bracket, hashtag anyone but Sheamus. For real, Sheamus is going to fucking win this thing. But anybody but Sheamus.
He's already got a King of the Ring, though, doesn't he?
Yeah. He's the defending King of the Ring champion.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was the last one. God.
Oh, man. Anyone but Sheamus. But you have Dolph Ziggler versus Bad News Barrett. Bad News Barrett comes out. Sheamus comes out on the ramp, distracts him, shows a picture of him kissing his ass. By the way, the most awkward stipulation ever. And he's distracted. Once again, it's just... I can't handle this distraction shit. It's like they take a horrible idea and just run it into the ground over and over and over and over again. The American Alucard, let's say you were fighting Wrestling Ranton and you were about to fucking knock him the fuck out, throw him off a cliff, or however you guys end your dispute. And I came on and go, hey, guess what? Check out my YouTube channel. Would you just turn around and give the guy 27 minutes? Especially considering I'm 300 feet away. Would you give him 27 minutes for Wrestling Ranton to get his bearings and beat you? No one does that ever. Ever. Especially there's a distance. It's dude, beat someone up. Okay, that came out wrong. If you ever get into a fight and you're completely winning, just imagine someone 200 feet away distracting you and getting knocked out. It's fucking mind-blowing. It is mind-blowing. And they go to it every fucking night. Every night someone is distracted. At least they got nothing. Bad News Barrett wins. I'm a little sad because, I'm a huge Dolph Ziggler fan. But I'm like, oh, that's great because Sheamus is going to be eliminated because Dolph Ziggler is going to get his revenge and eliminate Sheamus, and then the tournament will continue. So I'm still okay. I'm okay with this. I'm not ready to fucking punch myself in the face just yet. Not yet. What did you think, American Alucard opening match?
Decent, I guess decent match. Ziggler and Bad News Barrett always have pretty good matches. Ziggler, can we just say like it's over for him in the WWE? Like he's like 35 now. It's obvious they're not gonna do anything with Ziggler besides maybe high, low, mid card. It's time to cut the cord, man. Come on. Either you got to go to New Japan, TNA, or Ring of Honor because unless you're gonna stay for the money. If you're gonna stay for the money, cool. But as far as legacy, yeah, they don't respect you in WWE. It's pretty obvious. Bad News Barrett getting the win with the elbow pad turn because that's very dangerous when you turn your elbow pad inside out instead of taking it off to hit the guy with your raw elbow.
Well, wouldn't it still hurt even? Like, let's say it's rigged. Okay, let's say there's a metal plate. If you elbow someone, wouldn't it still hurt? Wouldn't you be like, hey, you know what? The metal's on the inside of the cushion part. It still hurts. I don't know. That's just me. Go ahead.
That's it for me. I mean, Sheamus came out. We can talk more about Sheamus when he has his match. So,
yeah. As far as the money thing goes, I can't wait to read Daniel Bryan's new book, just from the clips that Meltzer shared. And they just say, like, you think we're fucking rich, and it's not the case. And one YouTuber has been saying that forever. I remember I used to do radio where I sat on my ass and talked shit on air. And I was paid more than an Intercontinental Champion who traveled around the world and had to pay for his own health insurance card. So, I don't know, because usually the books are fluff pieces. I kind of want to see, hey, from these two clips, you got me hooked. I'll buy the book, But yeah, the money thing is kind of weird because Dolph Ziggler, if you're talented and over enough, you can probably make a hell of a lot more money on the indies, especially with New Japan, Lucha Underground, TNA being there. And if you can work your way to work for multiple companies, including AAA. Even in his shoot interview, Albert Del Rio, he said, like, yeah, no, there's more money in Mexico now. The money is absolutely horrible in WWE, but people worship the WWE. People worship these guys, and it doesn't matter how many athletes come out and say, yeah, we actually don't get paid shit. They're like, yeah, WWE makes a lot of money. You got to make a lot of money. It's just not the fucking case. It's not the case. They treat their athletes like shit. And I'm going to even say something else. Wrestling Ranton, get the tape recorder ready because you're going to fucking want this. John Cena's even underpaid. They're all fucking underpaid. Think about it. How great they are with the cable ratings. Being on television, being on the road, any form of entertainment, if you're getting those ratings, you're getting those crowds, you're getting paid a shitload. People are making fun of Justin Bieber because, Vince McMahon, I'm stealing this from the Internet Image Chat, is always 5 years behind. I guarantee Justin Bieber goes to Green Bay. He's getting paid a lot more than all your athletes combined. It's fucking ridiculous. So I hope Dolph Ziggler finds some freedom and goes to New Japan. Because New Japan is one of those rare places where the athletes come and, you go see them and you're like, hey, former TNA guy, hey, former WWE guy. Man, it's awesome that you're sacrificing to come here to New Japan. He's like, we ain't sacrificing shit. Getting fucking paid a hell of a lot more. Mm-hmm. And, and that's why the Young Bucks can stand up for themselves and all that. So hopefully that changes. All right, what did you think of the opening match, Wrestling Ranton?
I thought it was a decent match. Nothing tremendous to write home about. The only concern is wins and losses do matter for a guy like Ziggler, and him having two back. Well, this is how bad the booking is. He actually won the match. He won the match on Sunday, but your impression is because he wound up kissing Sheamus's arse that he lost the match. So technically, he kind of lost the match. So him looking bad 2 nights in a row.
The problem is it's WWE booking at its finest. The point of telling a story and having pro wrestling tell the story is you want both guys leaving the match strong. WWE is famous for both guys leaving weak. Ziggler lost the match, so Ziggler won the match but had to kiss ass, so he looks weak. Sheamus is a closet homosexual and lost, so he looks weak. And nothing about closet homosexuals. Just, come on, dude. You want to kiss another dude's ass? You got to be honest about it. You got to be honest. All right. Go ahead. You had anything else to add?
No, that's about it. I mean, it was the opening round of King of the Ring, so for an opener for King of the Ring, it wasn't a bad match. It's supposedly set the tone for the rest of the night, but it was okay. Yeah. That's all I can say. It was just okay.
It was passable. And then you have the New Day come out. I like the fact that Kofi didn't wear the belt this time because that just shows the Freebird rule is in effect. So I enjoy that. Any two of them can defend it, and they're getting new life brought into them just by being, Bo Dallas type heels. Like he doesn't know they don't know they're the bad guys, and it's bringing new life into it. And I love all three athletes, so I'm glad that they're getting a chance. And they did a very NWA thing, is where the tag team champs go against their challengers, but on one-on-one matches. I remember back in the day, that was like a staple for WCW, early WCW. Maybe it was still NWA back then. Like if the Midnight Express were going to fight the Rock and Roll Express, they would fight each other in singles matches prior to that big event, and then one would win and the other one would win. And I bought that as a kid so much. I'm like, but Arn Anderson's better, like it was the Horsemen. You'd be like, but Arn Anderson's stronger and he lost. And Tully, he's weaker, but he won. Oh, this, you know what I mean? You like overthought it as a kid. So I really enjoyed it. It was a bit of a short match, but all these athletes are amazing in this feud. So hopefully they keep it up. Big E does get the win, and they try to do, or before the match, they tried to do the New Day sucks thing. And it was one of those things, I enjoyed the match, but it was like, I wish it had more time. But I was young and fucking stupid during this Monday Night Raw. I thought it was going to be good. I was like, yeah, they gave it short time because they have to get all of the King of the Ring in. Yeah, that's information I wish I knew. That's information I wish I knew before going in watching. All right. The American a la carte, what did you think of this short match and New Day with the Freebird rules?
Awesome with the Freebird rules from the New Day. I get decent match, I guess, but still kind of short. It's too early for the New Day. I want to see where it goes, but I guess it was okay. It's really nothing to say about this match. It was just whatever.
All right. Wrestler Anthem?
I think this match went further to kind of build on what the New Day is doing right now. Amazingly enough, they have managed to figure out in a couple of months what John Cena hasn't figured out in 10 years. And that's when the crowd is booing you, that either you have two options. You can change your gimmick, or you can flip it. And you can be like the New Day are, who are heels who think they're faces. And they're trolling the whole New Day sucks chant. They do it intentionally, obviously. Big E being offbeat is funny. And these guys are pretty damn good heels right now.
Hold on. Being that guy, there's nothing funny about being offbeat, all right? I grew up in New Jersey. Everyone, this was when like Will Smith and rap just got on the scene, and everyone, no, being offbeat and having a problem with music, there's nothing funny about it. It's a serious situation, right, that I had to live with my whole life. Go ahead. Well,
poor Biggie. Biggie's supposed to have rhythm, man. He's a brother. He's supposed to have rhythm. But yeah, I think it's like you said, these are 5 really quality athletes, 6 including Natalia. I think Xavier Woods is playing the manager role pretty well because it's sorely needed, even though he really technically isn't a manager. So I can't say that, again, this is Monday Night Raw. We're not going to get a lot of great matches. You're going to have a lot of matches that are basically a storyline plot points, and that's what this was, to further the New Day being heels. And for that, it did what it's supposed to do. It's getting you this team that you don't like, their gimmick, they're goofy about it. They're goofy about it in a good way that you like them. It reminds me almost of The Rock in his early days when he turned heel after they tried to babyface him out and people weren't buying it. So, again, I agree with American Alucard. We're going to have to see where it goes. But so far, so good with them doing this for the past couple of weeks. And I think they could be really good tag team champions. This may turn out to be a lot better in the end than we expect it to be. But then again, it's WWE, so you don't know.
All right, should I be the one that asked the $1 million question? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Here it goes. Positive Petey's out there. I already see it on Google+. Pump your brakes. I see you, Google+ chat. Positive Petey's are already saying they worked us. Do you think they plan this all the time, or do you just think WWE fans will fucking blindly defend anything?
No, they didn't plan this all. This one is an obvious not plan because I think I said it on this show a while back when the New Day was coming out. Vince has this thing about the Southern Baptist character. Junkyard Dog, Coco Beware, Butch Reed, the natural Butch Reed dyeing his hair blonde. He's right up to when R-Truth came in, turning Too Cold Scorpio into Flash Funk. He's always got this kind of shucking and jiving ideal for his black wrestlers. So the New Day was his wet dream for his apparent love of Martin Luther King Jr., which I questioned. Is here now I get 3 of them. I get the Junkyard Dog, Coco Beware, and Flash Funk all in one group. I think that's what the intent was, and it didn't work. And somebody at least had enough sense to say, "Hey, we need to do the old Rocky Nation thing with these guys. We need them to be heels who think they're faces," and it works. It wasn't intentional. They didn't work as they just fixed the problem.
Go ahead.
I'm looking at old Flash Funk footage right now on YouTube because you said Flash Funk, and he comes out like Brodus Clay. He even has like the dancers look like Naomi and Cameron, how they dress. Yeah. Like, what the fuck is this Vince McMahon?
It's what he thinks of black people, and that's what he's always had. That they've never had. I mean, even Crime Time was barely a modern take on what you see today. He's never really had an ability to legitimize a black athlete. Ron Simmons comes in.
Hold on,
they put him in a blue helmet.
I think it's not just black guys. I think it's all races. Albert Del Rio says he doesn't know the difference between Mexican and Puerto Rican. Japanese people, they're fucked. There's only one of them on a roster at a time. And not only that, but like if you look back throughout the history of WWF, even white people, you're the Irish guy. You're the Canadian guy. It seems like he's just stuck on nationalities without actually knowing a lot about other nationalities. So
yeah, his worldview is still kind of in the 80s. I mean, we even see that now with Rusev. Rusev is supposed to be Ivan Drago. He's got this mentality about him where he only sees it a certain way, and again, he is out of touch. It's an out of touch view of black people and Asian people and everybody else. That's why we're dreading when Kenta comes up to the main roster that they're going to put him in a Karate Kid outfit in a gi and have him doing Ricky the Dragon Steamboat moves. Heaven forbid.
I can go worse than that. What are those hats that some Japanese people wear, like Raiden?
The Raiden hat, the straw hat, yeah.
So,
they already did that. Hakushi had that.
Yeah. So hopefully, I don't know. It's just weird because like nowadays, I noticed trend because I travel around the world. I live in Japan and I've been to over 30 countries, run businesses in multiple foreign lands, and I noticed something when you meet people, what race you are and where you're from isn't kind of the icebreaker anymore. Like back in the day, it was, do you know English? Where are you from? Now it's like, hello, friend, what do you do for a living? Like, your icebreakers have changed. And I just know that because I live overseas. I don't know if you guys travel. But if you traveled in the 70s, 80s, 90s, people will come up to you and be like, oh, my God, you're white. Where are you from? What's it like being white and American? They're like, well, let me tell you something. But those days are gone. They don't even mention it. And it's kind of weird because when someone else does mention it, you can see, like, the table of international people roll their eyes. Like, they just assume you're immature and don't know. You know what I mean? Because, like, I had a meeting, and no one said, I'm from China, I'm from Korea. They're just like, this is what I do, this is what I can do for you. And I think maybe he doesn't realize that the world doesn't give a shit about that anymore.
Sometimes.
Well,
I don't know.
Am I out of touch? No, it's the children who are out of touch.
Yes, that's my favorite thing ever. And then you got Bo Dallas versus Ryback. Both of them, I think, are doing a decent job at their roles. Sometimes I shit on Ryback, just especially when he talks. But when he doesn't talk, he's a very impressive athlete, a very impressive person. And then Bo Dallas I don't know, when it comes to the New Day and Bo Dallas, everyone has different like things they root for, different things they like. I love the heels, even in comic books, even in everything. I love heels / bad guys. I don't think they're the bad guys. And it's the Star Wars thing. When I was a kid, I was like, well, what the fuck does a stormtrooper think about? And then it hit me. You're like, no one's really fucking evil. So I like that fact, even though Bo Dallas has all the characteristics of being an evil guy, Bo Dallas doesn't believe that. And the same thing with New Day. I wish more people did that. Because, like, you know...
Same thing with John Cena.
Yeah.
He doesn't think he's a bad guy either. He is.
Yeah. But, sorry,
challenge is still open.
The John Cena challenge is still open, for those that don't know. All right. Yeah, but I don't know. That's why I love new superhero movies and shows. Like nowadays, Kingpin. Can you imagine Kingpin done in the 80s? Or even with the Ben Affleck Kingpin. I'm bad, I'm evil, look at me. But if you watch Netflix Kingpin, which has a lot better writing...
Yeah, don't spoil that for me. I haven't finished the Daredevil
well,
yet.
All I'm going to say is I won't spoil it for
it.
you. I won't spoil it for you, but it's absolutely amazing. But the thing is, while you're watching it, you're like, who's really the bad guy? I like that in storytelling. I think, like, if you got the Kingpin character, and you're like, are you a bad guy? He doesn't believe it. And those are the best villains / battles. You know what I mean? It's kind of great. Because a lot of veterans that travel, when they meet someone from the other side, they don't see them as a bad guy. They're not like, oh, well, I fought on this side, you fought on that side, we must hate each other. And most of the time, that's not the case at all. That's with veterans. Now, non-veterans, I don't know. But, yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it. It was a very short match, and I think both these athletes are being used the right way at this time. All right. American Alucard, do you want to add anything?
I guess what I want to say about this is it kind of speaks to a problem in WWE, like they don't know how to really book faces and heels, because Bo Dallas, he's a heel that gets cheered like a good guy, and he's facing Ryback, a face who gets cheered, but then it puts Ryback in a bad situation because if you notice somewhere in the match, the crowd was booing Ryback, but then they got back behind Ryback because Ryback's a beast. But it happens like that sometimes. Like sometimes, like it's like they try to put over the bad guy too much or whatever, and it makes the face turn to the bad guy. I don't know if I said that correctly.
Yeah. And I love it. They just are horrible at storytelling, and we talked about that in the chat. At KEBENOCH, Kevin, he was saying, imagine classic literature or your favorite stories. You know, your favorite books, your favorite movies, starring John Cena, written by WWE. How much worse it would have been. And you don't even have to go classic literature. Go Die Hard. Die Hard, John Cena plays the part of Bruce Willis, written by WWE. How horrible is that movie? And not only that, but like, let's take one of my favorite books of all time, The Great Gatsby. We'll call it The Great Cena. It's written by Vince McMahon, starring him. You know what The Great Cena does? He says, fuck the love of my life, I'm going to go buy a plastic whore, let me fucking win the title, ain't life grand, I'm going to walk out to the green light holding the championship belt. I mean, it's just, there's no challenges for the good guy. None whatsoever. Wrestler Ranton, do you want to add any, or are you thinking of famous stories where John Cena plays the lead role and written by Vince?
I've gotten over. I think I've reached my John Cena quota this week until we get to the match, because I'm trying to consciously not talk about that motherfucker anymore. But seriously, I'm just done with it. I'm just like I'm tired of harping about him. But as far as Ryback and Bo Dallas, and of course we have to bring up Bray Wyatt came in at the end of it, and the reveal that he
I forgot about that. See, you forget about John Cena. I just forgot about Bray Wyatt.
He indeed was talking.
You are Mr. Bray Wyatt. You are representing him. My client, Bray Wyatt. That's how I want you to call it.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
He was indeed talking about Ryback that entire time. Speculation was maybe it's Cena again, maybe Roman Reigns, but no, it's Ryback. Huge missed opportunity here. for the WWE, you have Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt, both feuding with Ryback. And they missed a great opportunity to kind of play off of that a little bit more than they did. Because really, unless you knew, like, you're a wrestling smart, and you knew that those two were the Rotunda brothers, you didn't know that. But being that we do know that, there is something there. It was a missed opportunity for them to tell a story. And the way they told the story with Bray Wyatt and Ryback wasn't really much of anything. He gets hit with the Sister Abigail, and Wyatt laughs and says something to Ryback, and we don't hear what it is. Comes back later in the night with a promo. Not really feeling that right now. It's what Bray's done for a while, unless him talking about Ryback being a caveman and he knows who Ryback really is an attempt for Wyatt to start a new Wyatt family. If that is the direction that they're going, I can be into this a little bit. But if it's just going to be a 3-month feud where they trade victories over pay-per-views, not so much.
Yeah, I wish the Wyatt family didn't break up. It just seems like together, all three of them are so strong. Separate, they're kind of like lost in the sauce.
Yeah, I rewatched our match of the year from last year, the Wyatts versus the Shield from just the other day. I watched that match again, and that match, the dynamic of those two entities going against each other was so good, and you really kind of, watching it, I was like, man, I kind of wish the Wyatts were still together, because as a trio, they're really intimidating. Individually, not so much.
All right, next is John Cena, and we have 2 rules. 1, Wrestling Ranton doesn't want to talk about John Cena, so we'll pause. We'll let have a little moment. 2nd, whenever the Divas come on screen, we go to comments. See what I did there? All right, going across the board for comments. All right, Bullet Club Biggs on Google Plus says, I thought Raw was a win. Bullet Club Biggs is a lot more positive than I am. I am hyped with my Bolts forcing a Game 7 on Wednesday. Yeah, go Lightning. I got the playoff patchy beard going. Man, I love hockey. I just looked up Flashpoint footage. Damn, he was just like what Brodus Clay was a few years ago. Here's the thing. Flashpoint came out first. Everyone's acting like, all right. Except Scorpio is dressed like a pimp, with the 2 Soul Sisters escorting him to the ring. Yeah, so, and that was interesting with ECW. If you guys watched the shoot interviews behind ECW, it's kind of interesting. Ricardo liked us on Facebook, appreciate it. People want to know how we can get on the show. Well, usually at the end we'll give out the link to people that we know that are over 18, and maybe we'll do that for this show too. King of the Ring, let's see. Oh yeah, that's a great point. Phil on Facebook mentions there was no mention of Owen Hart. He was a former King of the Ring. I think that's more of the lawsuit than a disrespect thing. I think that's more of his family's wishes than Vince McMahon disrespecting Hart's. So, boom, boom, boom. All right. On Twitter, @the_Jan_Brower liked and tweeted us. @CMBooth27 said podcast time. And Wrestling Ranton retweeted us. And I don't know. The American a la carte sent me something with Rusev. All right, there you go. All right, let's go to YouTube. This is where we make our bread and butter. And by bread and butter, I mean bread, no butter. All right, let's break this down. A lot of live comments, appreciate it. We're 10-0, gentlemen, 10-0. I think we should get a title shot against a younger champ. Grevin64 said to me it was a tie. Franielli says, hello, wrestling. No love for the American a la carte. What the hell? Mr. TNA's here, too, Franielli. Nice Internet Infantry shirt Franielli's wearing. If you'd like to get your own Internet Infantry shirt and look as sexy as Franielli, go to KocoSports.net and buy one. And you send us a picture. We'll do a 5-question Stump the Idiot just for you and put it up on our blog. The show was a weak tie, in my opinion. Match of the night was Neville versus Harper. Sheamus versus Ambrose was second. Jan Brower says, tie. I can't wait for Kane to turn face. Yeah, I don't know. I can give 2 shits about Kane. There you go. And you ever notice whenever there's a really good pro wrestler as champ, Kane gets attached to it? Yeah, like, Daniel Bryan's finally champ. Who's going to feud with Kane? Seth Rollins is finally champ. Who's going to feud with Kane? Kenta is finally champ. No. What the fuck is this? I think it's like, let's put him in the ring with Kane. Then fucking no one will like him because they don't think he can wrestle. And John Cena's like, I like that.
You just gave me a bad idea, too. Not so much Kenta, but Prince Devitt. And, well, Devitt's champion. We've got to return to Demon Kane, and it can be Demon versus Demon. I can see it now. Yeah. Fuck you, McMahon. Sorry.
Gravin64 says, I don't know what I was more pissed off at seeing Cena on my TV quoting Winston Churchill or the crowd chanting USA as he's quoting him. Yeah, you know what? You got to pull all the tricks out. John Cena has to get reelected 4 more years.
Oh God, please no.
MMA Voice, hey Coco, who do you think will win the King of the Ring, and do you think it will mean something? Do you think the winner will actually get a push? Also, to me, this Raw was a huge loss because I was watching a marathon of New Japan World. Never watched New Japan or Lucha Underground before WWE Raw. Don't do it. It's got to be a bad time. Yeah, so it was a bad idea for me, I guess. Yeah, it's always a bad idea. Never watch New Japan or Lucha Underground right before Raw, because you're going to have a bad time off the bat, right off the bat. I think Sheamus is winning King of the Ring, and it's going to be absolutely disappointing. Who I want to win, anyone but Sheamus. I could see it help Neville. I could see it help Stardust. I forget if Stardust gets eliminated. Spoilers. Oh, he's already eliminated? Oh, well. Yeah, I could see it helping a lot of people, but I think it's just going to go to Sheamus. Because you have to go like, oh, wow, there's nothing but wrestlers, mid-carders, low-end guys, and one golden. It's just, yeah, it's just sad. All right, let's do a little prediction game. A little pay-per-view profit, I guess. Who's winning King of the Ring? Sheamus, or Sheamus? American Alucard? And I don't think he's there. Wrestling Ranton?
Oh, okay. I would, if I was booking, I would say it'd be Neville, because it's an appropriate thing for Neville to do, to win the King of the Ring tournament. However, given what they're doing with Sheamus' character right now, I definitely agree with you. I think Sheamus will win. I think if the brackets work out that way, at some point Sheamus and Neville will have a match, whatever. Well, I guess we'll get to that later. It just depends on who the semifinal brackets are, but I don't see Barrett winning. I definitely don't see R-Truth winning.
I think it's going to be Barrett and Sheamus in the finals, and Sheamus wins. I mean, that's
I don't know, two heels against each other. That's kind of I don't know.
Yeah, but we like Barrett, and they like crushing our soul.
Oh man, well maybe yeah. Now that you mention that, maybe it's going to be Barrett then, because maybe it's Barrett and Neville in the finals. So we'll see. I'll put it on Sheamus. All
right. And how does someone scream, "Hey, detract somebody"? I have no idea. I mean, and not only that, but if it happened once, like, all right, if I walk up to you and I point and be like, "What's that?" And when I point at it, you look up and I punch you right in the gut. All right, yeah, you fell for it the first time because you trusted me. But WWE standards, this is like the 90th time today they pointed up. You know what I mean? It's just like, no, we get it. That might work once in a million times, not once a fucking show. Brianna Jackson says Dean Ambrose should have won. They screwed him again, of course. Dolph should have distracted Sheamus. And no one is stat. Where were you on this run, Wrestling Rant? And I didn't know that. Do you know this is the first time Dean Ambrose won in forever on a pay-per-view?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Dolph should have distracted Sheamus to make Dean Ambrose win. Yeah. Like Sheamus did for him earlier, or let Dean win it on his own. Yeah, I agree. I thought that was it. That's when that happened, it broke my heart. I mean, Sheamus has already won King of the Ring once. Let someone else enter the tournament. I agree. Do you think Neville is like Evan Bourne? Who is better, Neville or Bourne? In ring-wise, Neville. WWE behind him-wise, Neville. But Bourne's not bad at all. But I think Neville has two things going for him. He's better, and WWE's behind him. Okay, that's two major things.
For now.
Yeah, they'll probably switch. Malik Douglas says, Vern Gagne died. Did you hear about it? Rest in peace. Another great Minnesota legend gone. Mean Gene tweeted about it. Yeah, I saw the tweets in the news. Really sad story. AWA champ, AWA promoter. And for those, I know YouTube has a lot of younger fans. You should check out WWE's AWA. It's a really good documentary because I knew about the AWA, but I didn't watch the AWA when it was in its prime. So, yeah, Vern Gagne, a huge legend, passed away. So sad story. Grevin64, the Sandow segment I liked, and the Ziggler versus Bad News Barrett match would have been good, but of course they had to have interference. Yeah. MMA Voice, this will be the last comment, and we'll break it down, but keep sending them because there's a lot of comments we plan on getting them. MMA Voice, shocker of the night. Adam Rose is not gay. Laugh my ass off. Well, there you go. I don't know. He could be bi, though. He's partying up with all those guys. I don't know. Let's not eliminate, the fact that he might not put a penis in his mouth. All right.
He likes to put lollipops in his mouth, so.
Yeah. I always saw him as a party swinger because that's what I thought. Like the Lex Express or whatever fucking they're on. I just imagined it was just a giant orgy of people having sex. Was I the only one who thought that?
It's PG era. That only applies to WWE's mature-rated cartoons.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right, let's go back to breaking it down. American Alucard, you back?
Yes.
All right, welcome back. Some people were asking us, who do you think is winning King of the Ring? I say Sheamus. And Wrestling Ranted said, that's a great point, but Sheamus, who do you think's going to win?
Who do I think?
King of the Ring.
I would say the brackets were horrible. Damn. I want to say Neville, but it's too early to. What do they get for winning King of the Ring? Isn't it like a title shot?
No, they just get to be King of the Ring, a crown, and act like an asshole for a couple months.
King Booker.
That's it.
Okay.
But it's a gimmick for the mid-carders. Like it's like how they could use Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal better. Because in promos you can be like, well, I won it. You can make it like a big deal. But the problem with WWE is they just don't make it into a big deal anymore. I mean, speaking of King of the Ring, remember how Owen Hart made everything a big deal? Owen Hart would be like, I won the Golden Shoelace. It's the most fucking important thing in the world. And you just believe it.
Like, after you saying that right there about the gimmick and everything, it will probably fit out of the people that are left. Maybe R-Truth the best because he has no gimmick. I mean, Bad News Barrett, he has the Bad News thing, even though they don't really do that anymore, so that's something. Sheamus has the whole Irish gladiator, and Neville, he's the new sensation, the man that gravity forgot, so he already has something. R-Truth is a black guy with jeans and a t-shirt on.
Well, he's afraid of spiders.
He's a what?
That's his gimmick. He's afraid of spiders.
You're afraid of spiders, and you're afraid of heights.
Yeah, if they wanted to go for a comedy gimmick, I mean, R-Truth would be imagine him running around for Crown. That's comedy gold right there. Just let him run with it.
One thing I did like about WWE was they would say, "What if you were king?" And they brought it. It reminded me back in the '80s when they would show the picture-in-picture and do the interview. And Dean Ambrose was the best, but yeah, they were pretty good. Like, what would you do if you were king? He's like, I'd ban pop country.
Yeah, he also said everything would be settled with fighting in the streets, which today, not today, dude. Not today, dude.
Oh, I'll try to relax. And not only that, but Baltimore is getting payback.
Payback is our pay-per-view. By the way, I will be at Payback, and I will be tweeting and broadcasting live from Payback, so you guys check out my show, Cheap Plug.
You son of a bitch! It wasn't time for a cheap plug. Speaking of cheap whores, John Cena comes out and cuts the same exact fucking promo. Like, why can't he just grab the mic and be like, you know the fucking deal, bring out my opponent? He can't.
Get some Jabra out here.
Yeah, and then Slater answers the challenge. You get the little cheap 3MB pop. Slater is, I think, he's one of my favorite characters because he doesn't have to win. Like, there's something amazing about being an over jobber or enhancement talent. Like, if you're over and you don't have to win, that's amazing. But he goes out there, and then it gets wacky. Why would Rusev... Is Rusev taking the open challenge? Rusev just attacks him from behind, cuts his same exact fucking promo. John Cena looks like he's like, if I did I flush the toilet before Nikki Bella walked in? What am I doing with my life? He just looks confused. And then a Russian flag drops down, and I'm just like, why? Why? The Russians are famous throughout history for being good military strategy people. You know, some of the strategies that even today's military uses from around the world came from Russian strategy. Russians, and I don't understand. What's your strategy? Oh, instead of fighting him, we're just going to talk and a flag drop down. I don't get it. I don't. All right. Yep. Yeah. So that fucking happens. Do you just want to skip it? The awkward silence? Is that this John Cena awkward silence?
Here's the thing. Even if you try to like John Cena, he makes it impossible. He comes out, cuts the promo. Spoiler alert, I win. Fuck you, John Cena. We all know you're going to win. You don't have to say spoiler alert. Like he's trying to be funny about the whole Cena wins, LOL. Like, nobody likes you, John Cena. And then, Slater comes out, he's over as a jobber, but then it's like, okay, what if Rusev hadn't attacked him? Like, Cena beating Slater maybe would have been like an interesting match, maybe. Like, do you guys think like the match would have went over 10 minutes and it would have been competitive, or would have just been as soon as Slater got in the ring, he would have got AA? Like, what do you guys think about that?
I think it would have been either way, but I think it would have helped out with his open challenge. Like, open challenge, all right, that guy got beat up, so, all right. You know, I think it just would have helped him. But I don't want to pick on Cena. I want to cheer up Wrestling Rant, and I want to give him high fives. We're gonna give John Cena a pass right now. He's horrible.
I don't mind talking about Cena, but I'm not going to talk about him in other segments.
All right, understood. So we already fucking made fun of him in another segment. So I want to focus on making fun of someone that I forgot to mention earlier. The announcers are racist and horrible. The announcers are racist and horrible. The announcers can ruin a career and also ruin John Cena. Here's why. One, the Ascension. The Ascension's career is pretty much ruined because no one stood up for them. JBL's the heel announcer, Booker T's the face, Michael Cole is just there. You know what I mean? So when JBL buried the Ascension and Booker T didn't defend them, their careers are ruined now. You know? John Cena, you have, who's the heel announcer? It's JBL. But you go across the board, all three of them love it. So it's kind of like, oh, all right, John Cena gets everything, including heel support. And then where it comes from with the announcers being horrible and racist, New Day is the heels, right? New Day are the heels in this feud. Booker T is for the faces, JBL is for the heels. That's the way it's supposed to work. They both picked their race during that feud. I'm just like, dude, this is a pretty shitty announcing team. They're burying people, they're not doing a great job, and they're making John Cena's job even harder. It's got to the point now that it's like, I think someone has to sit down with them and be like, no, you have to have a role or you have to be consistent. Because they're not consistent at all. And the fact that the black face announcer is rooting for the black heels and the white heel announcer is rooting for the white face, I'm going with, do you not realize how fucking shitty that looks? The announce team is really, really fucking horrible. And here's the worst part. It's not even Michael Cole's fault. It's not Michael Cole's fault. I don't know. Do you see the problems that I see with the announce team?
I thought it was gonna get better when Jerry King Lawler like got off Raw, but it's Vince. He's obviously in the headsets telling these guys what to say and do, and I don't know if it ever be. You could bring it back JR and it still won't make the announce team good because he'll try to sabotage that shit.
Well, JR said he doesn't even want to do it these days. He was talking about this a while ago on his podcast that he can't. The way it is now, it's different than when he was there, and he doesn't want to do what Michael Cole does. As far as JBL and Booker T, I don't know if that's so much Vince. I think that's just JBL and Booker T. Because even if you see Booker T on the pre-shows when Vince isn't, in his ear, and when he was used to do the before Raw shows, he does a lot of that stuff. Before the pre-shows, I think it was WrestleMania or one of the ones, they were all over Byron Saxton basically for being an Uncle Tom. I mean, he all but called him an Uncle Tom. No, it was WWE WrestleMania Access. They all but were calling Byron Saxton Uncle Tom. That's just Booker T. And JBL, we all know what he's about, and he just does what he wants to do. If he wants to cheer for John Cena, which is a valid point, he's supposed to be the heel announcer, yet he's like kissing John Cena's ass all the time. And
oh my God, Big Match John.
Yeah, he's Big Match John Cena, and it's like if you go back in the day, Jesse Ventura, one of the reasons why he was so popular with people is because he'd call Hulk Hogan out on his bullshit. Like, Hogan's beating up Bobby Heenan, who's a manager, with a broken neck. What's heroic about that, And JBL's supposed to be the modern-day Jesse Ventura, but he's far from being a modern-day Jesse. So, yeah, the announcing team, not good at all.
And it's got bad when three super wrestling nerds are like, well, poor Michael Cole. That's when you know it's got bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's actually the one that you actually don't mind talking at this point, which is bad.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I don't know, did everything get worse so that Vince's guys look good? You know what I mean? Like, just make the product as bad as possible. Then they have to like the guy as I like. Oh, man. All right, let's break it down. Next, you have R-Truth versus Stardust. I think these two guys, out of the whole tournament, would succeed the most. And I think Stardust and R-Truth, as King of the Ring, them cutting promos, them being on this show, it gives them something. Like, even Axelmania has something. I think that's why when it comes to this, King of the Ring, I hope they give it to someone that needs it. Because then they can talk about it and reference it. And reference it. Make it a big deal. Don't act like it's Cesaro in the Andre the Giant trophy. Really reference it and make it a big deal. Because if the announcers and the wrestlers think it's a big deal, then the fans think it's a big deal. And it's the same thing with the Hall of Fame. Why is the Hall of Fame a big deal? Because WWE makes it a big deal. Well, make King of the Ring a big deal again. And one of these two guys could definitely help out. R-Truth does get the win. I would recap this match, but it was short, fast-paced short is the best way I can describe it. And R-Truth goes on. I'll be rooting for him, but, because could you imagine the crazy promos both these guys would cut if they became King of the Ring? American Alucard, what did you think of the match?
Okay, first, guys, close your eyes. Just close your eyes. Imagine your Stardust backstage. Put on your makeup. Somebody in the creator comes up to you and says, you're going to be in King of the Ring. Okay. And then they say your opponent is R-Truth. And you're like, okay, R-Truth. Okay, what's the end? You lose to R-Truth. Okay. Well, is there a feud? No. Does R-Truth win? Probably not. Then why does he win over me? Because fuck you, that's why, Cody Rhodes.
Wow.
I was like along the storyline. I was like, all right, I'm with it. All right, go ahead.
Cody, I don't know what to say, man. He would, like you said, he would be a good King of the Ring, but is it like they don't believe in him? They don't like the Rose family? I don't get it. Like, what?
I think they just focus on one guy and one guy only, and don't put any effort into anyone else with the mid card. Well, I don't think it's an attack. I don't think it's an attack on Cody. I don't think it's an attack on R-Truth. I just honestly believe they don't give a shit.
Well, I might go back on that one because let's think about it. It is the Rhodes family, and Vince has had a lot taken a lot of shots by Virgil, putting Dusty in polka dots, turning Dusty's son into a homosexual. So, yeah, there's a lot of, cheap jabs that they take at the Rose people, or the Rose fellas.
Yeah, poor Dusty and all his family still has to work there. That's
Yeah,
gotta be
sure.
awkward. They're like AJ Lee for generations. AJ Lee had to put up with that for a little bit. Poor Rhodes, they had to fucking do it. Next, you got Fandango versus Adam Rose in the Y match. Anyone gave a fuck.
It's the superstars that nobody cared about.
Yeah, Rose is in the Rosebuds, and they distract, so Adam Rose wins. But then Fandango goes crazy. Adam Rose wins, and they make out or something. I don't fucking know. Do you even care? I mean, is there any part that we care about this? Adam Rose wins by a distraction, and Rosa Mendez and Adam Rose make out, and Fandango just looks shocked.
On paper, it's an interesting matchup of the two characters. It's just that the characters are not over. I mean, if the characters were over, Fandango and Adam Rose, it's a good pairing, but nobody cares.
And not only that, but people could care about Fandango, and you're like, oh, you care about Fandango? All right, put him against that Adam Rose. And it's like, all right, the caring just dropped, and no one gives a shit. So, and not only that, but Rose Mendez did not look that good tonight. I don't know, a lot of people are asking me if they should fire her, and I'm like, well, she's good looking. I don't know, she looks a little milfy tonight. And yeah, so there you have it. You got anything to add, American Alec Card, or just say next?
It's another feud where Fandango gets discredited and loses because of a woman. First it was Layla and Summer Rae, and now it's Rosa Mendez. And Rosa Mendez, she's like the WWE groupie. She hops from wrestler penis to wrestler penis. It was I don't know who she came in with first time. Then it was the Puerto Rican guys, and then it's, I don't know, she fell off the radar, and then it's Fandango, and then, it's they can either they don't want to find a character for her, or she can't wrestle, so they have to keep putting her in these stupid manager roles or type whatever. It's just if you can't find something for her, just fire her, or just keep it backstage.
There is a Freebird backstage that will try to find something for her.
I was about to get it. Or just keep her backstage sucking Michael P.S. Hayes' penis. I mean, just keep it simple like that.
Yeah, but you also have to remember that there is the portion of the sports entertainment side of WWE that thinks it's a variety show, and these are characters for our variety show. It's not really about wrestling. It's about, hey, it's entertaining to somebody, apparently, somewhere.
But she hasn't had a character that really fits with anything. You tried the whole I'm fitnessy and I'm the road to, I forgot what she called it, and then she's trying to be numerous managers of people, and she's sucking their charisma and doesn't gel together. It's just why can't you find something for her? It's boggling. She's been here almost as long as John Cena.
Yeah, I don't know. Tonight was pretty sad, and the whole segment was kind of pathetic, and it killed the crowd. The crowd was kind of rowdy for it not being a UK type crowd. They were into it, and it didn't seem to break kayfabe. They seemed to be into the product. It seemed like a friendly kayfabe city, and they just did not give a shit. But don't worry, it picks up. You got Brie Bella versus Naomi. And first off, before that, the Brie Bella thing. All right. I don't mean to kick someone while they're down, I assure you. But they asked you a question about your real husband, real life situation, and you still can't act. When someone goes, hey, how's your husband, and you can't act how you really feel, there might be a problem. Naomi pushes her to the ground and says, hey, listen, I steal NXT girls' gimmicks, so don't make me steal your gimmick. And then that leads to a match. I like the shoes. The shoes on Naomi look pretty sweet. I'm like a little kid. I'm like, they glow. Naomi wins. She rolls up Brie in a cradle to get the win out of nowhere. It was a really short match, and I don't give a shit. The big question was, and I'll go with you guys. You guys have a better memory than me. When did the Bellas become faces? My answer on the Internet Infantry Chat was just WWE poof their faces. Remember when the other podcasters said, oh, give it time, the Bellas are going to fucking have one hell of a feud? Still waiting. Still waiting for your apologies. Go ahead, positive WWE podcasters. Where are you? Are you going to admit you're wrong? Oh, give it more time? All right. I'm sure the Bella storyline's going to play out any second now. Any second. Yeah, so what happened? Your thoughts while I go to hit up comments. American a la carte, what's your thoughts?
First of all, like the backstage segment where Brie Bella's like, oh, my husband and blah, 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 blah. I'm surprised Naomi just didn't push her down and say, nobody wants to hear that those crocodile tears. You cheated and you cost me the title. What the fuck is this? And then they have the match, which it was, I guess, okay, but then it's like now they're faces, but Naomi's a heel, but the Bellas are still heels because they still I guess they're trying to use Daniel Bryan's injury to say that the Bellas are now faces, but Nikki Bella is still what? Oh, it just gave me a headache. Okay, I gotta stop. I gotta stop.
Poof. I just say you describe it with poof, their faces. Poof, their faces. American a la carte, you're the historian of the group. You're the guy that knows everything about everything when it comes to history.
Okay.
How did they become faces?
Okay.
No, American. I'm sorry. Sorry, Wrestling Random.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
What? How did they become? Oh, how did the Bellas become faces?
Yeah. You're a smart guy.
The Bellas became faces basically because they had to take Paige out of the equation due to injury, which No,
we're talking kayfabe-wise. Recap kayfabe-wise.
Okay,
not behind the scenes why they're faces. We know why they're faces because they get it in the face. But
there is no storyline reason for it outside of the fact that there aren't any female faces right now in WWE. I think every diva is a heel.
The creative person said that there's no faces and heels in divas. They're just catty bitches.
Well, that's not true because Paige and AJ were faces and what's her face? Summer Rae just did a heel turn last week on Mizdow, so that blows that theory to shit. Yeah, there's no storyline reason why the Bellas are faces, and they're doing a piss poor job of making them faces because Sunday night they did a twin switcheroo to cheat to win, which is a heel tactic. Naomi has become a heel. So once again, we have the very incoherent storytelling by the WWE, and it's damaging to the Divas division. And it's another thing that we kind of hope that Bayley and Charlotte and Sasha Banks and all the rest of them, well, that new girl they can bring her up. But they all stay in NXT and they don't come up to the WWE roster because I don't want to see this kind of storytelling. No matter how good they wrestle, I don't want to see this kind of storytelling with Bayley and Charlotte and all those guys. So it's terrible.
When Charlotte comes to the WWE and if they fuck up Charlotte, I'm just going to be heartbroken.
That was a guarantee. It's a guarantee. They have no choice but to fuck her up because they're not going to know what to do with her, and she has nobody to wrestle with. And so what are we going to do? She can't wrestle anybody. We got one wrestler she can have matches with. That's not going to work. So make her heel and team her up with The Miz. So that's what they're going to do.
All right, Bullet Club Biggs on Google Plus says, New Day! I hope their tag title reign is a good one. I hope so, too. Sheamus doesn't like vanilla midgets and IWC darlings, fella. Shout out. Oh, yeah. I don't want to talk about that tonight, but Bullet Club Biggs says, it's just real. I just want to say, because Bullet Club Biggs, it's just real life situation. We're trying to escape that. Bullet Club Biggs, damn, wrestling. I'm glad somebody said it. Brian Saxon sure does sound like an Uncle Tom. And then Bullet Club Big says, I want to put babies in Rosa Mendez. Adam Rose does look like he likes to taste the penis. All right, that's from Bullet Club Biggs. Let's see. Facebook. All right. Nope. Facebook, there's always that one social media you go across, because I have them all lined up, and it used to be Google+, but there's always that one social media that takes it too far, and you're just like, all right, we might as well skip Facebook. Facebook's taking it too far tonight. So when you're asking about penis sizes of the host, your official line of communication is cut off. All right, let's go to YouTube, our home, our saving. Google screwed up YouTube. Seriously, guys, when did the distraction cradle schoolboy combo become the deadliest sequence in wrestling? That shit is on the same level of kick Warren stunner and big bootleg drop. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Power Play says, I want Reigns and Cena to feud because 2 segments become one. Power Play, that's the way I thought a lot. Yeah, especially like at WrestleMania, I'd always put like the guys I absolutely just hate, and I'm like, oh, I hope they feud. Because I hated John Cena, I hated Randy Orton, I hated Kane. There's a lot of people I used to hate. Dave Batista, and I'd be like, when I heard like John Cena, Dave Batista versus Randy Orton in a 3-way, I was like, yes, one whole match I don't have to watch. Put them together. It looks like they might be going back that route. But the way Power Play thinks is the way I always thought about pay-per-views. I'm like, they got to be on the card, so have them wrestle each other, and I can just fucking chill out and eat a sandwich. Does anyone else think like that? When they're coming up with a big card, do you hope that the 2 guys you hate wrestle each other because you know they're not going to be on the card?
Nah, I'm not that into. I just hope Cena's not in the main event. That's my biggest thing.
That's your line.
Because that's how I tolerate him, and that's why we only have to cover him but so much. That's the only thing I wish for booking wise, because I don't hate as many wrestlers as you. I don't think anybody hates as many wrestlers as you do.
I used to always have a hate 5, but in my old age, like I dropped the Hardys. The Hardys are kind of cool. Did you see Matt Hardy's what is it, Kickstarter or something like that video?
Hilarious.
Dude, it was absolutely awesome. Go out of your way if you guys haven't seen it. Matt Hardy does. Was it Indiegogo or something like that? It was something along those lines where you ask for money, and Matt Hardy did one, and it was by far the best thing Matt Hardy's ever did in his fucking career.
I don't know. He had some pretty funny Ring of Honor ones.
Yeah, Matt Hardy's actually fucking pretty awesome when he's just being Matt Hardy. The Hardys are off my hated list, by the way. Jeff, you fuck up. You can be on that list pretty quick. I don't know if I have a hated list. I used to have a fave 5 and a hated 5. And now I just have a hated 1.5. Tom Mananin, I'm sorry, I apologize. Did they fuck work that New Day shit? Vince is out of touch, racist, stereotypical prick. I don't think they worked us. I just think they adjusted on the fly. And, yeah, as far as racists and stereotypes, I don't know. I don't think anyone's going to argue that. Lennox Wooderson says Seth and Roman in the main event is becoming very stale very fast. They're just like Randy and Batista, all negative aspects, only a few positives. Yeah, not a lot, but someone broke down the last, 3 or 4 pay-per-views, and a lot of it is the same fuckers wrestling each other. Like Rusev and Cena is wrestling each other almost every pay-per-view this year. Lennox Wooderson says WWE doesn't have characters. They always had stereotypes. Some have had more character development. That's an interesting fact. That's a possibility. You have to go back. And a lot of that, but I guess there is characters, but it's more of strong performers just taking the ball. I don't think Stone Cold's a stereotype. I guess he could be. The Rock, I don't think, is a stereotype. I think I can see The Rock as a character. Am I wrong?
Well, there's this Attitude Era. You did have that because those guys, and that was kind of the thing of the Attitude Era, is that they changed from the overhyped stereotypes to saying, "Hey, you guys be yourselves," and to crank the volume up. And now they've gotten away from that again, and now we're back to characters. So, in a sense, it is true. WWE has worked with a lot of stereotypes, and I think when Vince is not pushed, and we all know this now, when they're not fighting for their lives, creative goes down the tubes.
Yeah. Lennox Wooderson asks, no, this is back to Tom. Tom, I hold out hope, but I think Kenta is fucked on the main roster. That is our biggest fear, at least my biggest fear. Apart from being Japanese, he is bloody tiny. Not the best combo to pitch to Vince. Yeah, his size is a problem, also language, and also he's Japanese. But, he can wrestle amazingly, and everyone and their mother stole their finishes from him. And not only that, but he's getting a little fucking wisecracking on the Twitter with CM Punk. He's always busting CM Punk's balls. And there's a part of me that I hope it's really Kenta and not like some corporate guy. But Kenta is really busting CM Punk's balls.
Yeah,
How should WWE? Go ahead.
CM Punk deserved that because that was the whole thing tonight. That Kenta finally hit the go to sleep, and then he said something about his T-shirts or something. CM Punk tweeted some ignorant shit about it, and we're just like, really? You stole your finisher from the dude. You stole a couple moves from the guy. Come on, man.
I mean, there was a time where like every main eventer in WWE was using a Kenta move.
Yeah.
There was a time where Kenta's like, are you fucking with me right now? I don't know. I wish they had a Paul Heyman. Like, could Kenta be with Paul Heyman and just Paul Heyman say the stuff that Kenta fans are thinking? You know what I mean? Be like, just, it'd be like, oh, we banned the finisher, like the curb stomp. I could be like Paul Heyman, be like, you could just steal one of our clients' moves. That's what WWE's been doing for years. I mean, there's just so much great shit Paul Heyman can do as a mouthpiece, And plus, it attacks with the CM Punk thing. You have Paul Heyman, I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's the best way for Kenta to get over is for them to pull a Muda and pair him up with a manager, and it works.
Yeah. Lennox Wooderson said, how should WWE bring up Finn Balor? This is my idea. You guys can pitch your own ideas. If Finn Balor, I'd have a Raw in Ireland. You know what I mean? Have a Raw in Ireland. And even if it's not live, who gives a shit? Have Seth Rollins run his mouth about Ireland and do what they did with Santino and the Intercontinental title with Finn Balor and the world title. I don't even give a fuck if spoilers get out. You know how many people hate WWE but love pro wrestling? You just have to say Prince Devitt fucking won the title in Ireland, premiering on WWE. Your fucking ratings spike. The fans would go absolutely crazy, and if the UFC has learned something, and hopefully WWE can learn something from the UFC, obviously not drug policy, but WWE can learn something from the UFC, it's Ireland will fucking pay for their heroes. And you have Finn Balor just go, I mean, that's what I would do. People would lose their shit, even if it's a short title run. That's something memorable forever. You know what I mean? Anyone got any ideas how they would bring Finn Balor up?
Go ahead, Alex Yard.
I can go ahead. I'm thinking.
Okay. I think he's a character wrestler. He's in my strain of wrestling a little bit because he's got the whole war paint and everything going on with him. I think you bring him up as a counterpoint to somebody, a heel who's really hot. You got to build up a really hot heel, whether that's Bray, whether that's Ryback, or Ryback's heel at the time, Sheamus, guy that's really just on his he's just tearing up through the roster. He's beating all the baby faces. Says there's no more challenges for him, and then you get Finn coming out there. And I think that's probably the best way in my mind that you could debut a guy like that. And not in his face paint, though. You want to save that for a major show. But you just have him come in there and just shut the mouth of somebody who's I don't know about winning a championship because we went through a long period of championships going back and forth, so I don't want to dilute the title wins. But I think him taking down somebody like a Seth who's running their mouth a lot, I think that'd help.
Gotcha. American Alicorn, any ideas?
Maybe, since WWE loves kind of like characters, you bring them in as sort of like a class, like a well-mannered type of babyface, but then he gets pushed to the limits by some heel, and after months and months, at a big pay-per-view, he debuts the face paint, the demon face paint gimmick or whatever. So there's also like a dual personality type of thing, type of gimmick.
Gotcha. Lennox Wooderson said, with the last week in the books, it's official. Last week is officially over. Who gets show of the week? Me, Lucha Underground. I think nothing touches Lucha Underground right now, and it's sad that people don't watch it. I know different people have different styles of wrestling. I know different people have different, there's different flavors of ice cream that everyone likes. But I think Lucha Underground right now is the perfect or next to perfect show for me and my style of wrestling. Let's go across. The American a la carte, best show of last week.
I'll give the best match to Lucha Underground because that trio thread was awesome.
Good.
But the match beforehand, Sexy Star versus Octagon, barely passable.
Really? I disagree. I love it.
It was good, but it wasn't like. Well, I can't give New Japan something because New Japan, they aren't new. We're going to give Raw like a great ball of shit every time until they improve. Then what's else? What else?
Well, then there's NXT, Impact, ROH. But ROH is hard to put in a weekly thing because it's like, it's like ROH this week is from 1986. And you're like, all right, I don't know if that counts. Like, ROH is good, and I like to do ROH reviews, but it feels weird because you're like, people bitch. Like, someone bitched last week because, like, TNA was 2 days late. And I'm like, I'm going to dumb down you because you're fucking late. You're going to fucking review. We're starting to go off the air. And, like, I'm like, okay, whatever. But here's the thing. It always feels weird because you're like, the Ring of Honor, it's free on internet, and it's from 1982. It's like, man. I don't know if Ring of Honor can count as the weekly.
It was 2 weeks. I think it's 1 or 2 weeks behind. I watched the show. It was pretty good. So, yeah, TNA just been consistent. Sometimes it's just like okay, and then sometimes it's like great, but it stays consistent. So that's that. And then NXT, I don't know, man. NXT is like sometimes it's good, sometimes it's just like.
Well, here's the thing. And the NXT, they turned it kind of down for WrestleMania weekend and forgot to turn it back on. Like, they're like, all right, we're going to turn it down so it doesn't embarrass Mania. Fuck. Let's just keep it turned on for a little bit. All right, so final answer.
It's a tie between Lucha and TNA. Damn, because Ring of Honor had a good show.
All right, so basically you're saying anybody with WWE.
Here it is. Tie between Lucha and TNA for number 1, and then ROH gets number 3.
All right.
And then NXT, and then WWE at the bottom.
Okay. Wrestling Ranton, who do you get?
For weeklies, see, I'm going to totally break the rules then, because weeklies, I didn't see Lucha. I saw TNA, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and ROH. Me personally, I'd give it to ROH, but like you said, the show is by 2 weeks old. So that would be my answer for the weekly as far as what we're thinking. But honestly speaking, the best wrestling I saw is even older than the TNA. What I watched last week, I actually got my hands on a copy of New Japan's Invasion Attack. So
that was pretty sweet.
That was the best wrestling show I saw last week. So
the best wrestling show of the week was archived.
Yes, it was a month old. It was a month old New Japan show in front of 10. Never mind, I'm not going to get into that yet. Not going to get into it.
All right,
go ahead.
You got Sheamus versus Dean Ambrose. Pretty decent match considering what it is. Gave him a lot of time, and at the end, fucking what's his nuts? Dolph Ziggler comes out, beats the shit out of him, and makes it go to the second round. And I don't know, it was a decent match, just ruined by pure disappointment. It's a decent idea, ruined by pure disappointment. And here's the thing that burns my ass the most. And I hate to say this, this is how bad pro wrestling is. I'm starting to agree with Vince Russo. I think the biggest problem with WWE, they just don't try. Like, you look at this, you're like, yeah, they're not trying. And it's not the athletes. I think the athletes are some of the best athletes WWE's had in a long time, maybe ever, athletic-wise. You know, there was that time when Shelton Benjamin and Brock was in his prime. That was a pretty athletic time. But besides that time, this is probably the best athletes WWE's ever had. Might be the worst creative they've ever had. You know, there's Tough Enough. Put a goddamn show called Creative Enough. That's what you fucking need, motherfuckers.
Yes.
I don't know. It's just a decent match with two men that worked hard, ruined by horrible writing. And when is WWE Creative going to apologize? Listen, if you have access to WWE guys and you do interviews and you hear stuff like, oh, fans only hate me because they hate their lives and you don't say anything, you're a bitch. But let's get past that moment. If you have access to them, ask them, what is the weakest part of your company, and how come creative never improves? Because I can't picture, like, being on a call with Vince McMahon, Triple H, or any of these fucking guys, interviewing them, and not asking them who the weakest part of their company is, and them not saying creative. Because WWE, as a company, is amazing. Social media is amazing. Presentation's amazing. Everything's amazing. The athletes are amazing. But overall, the product sucks because of one fucking group of people. Hashtag creative enough. That's what fuck we need to do. All right, we'll go across the board. American a la carte, your thoughts on this match where two athletes busted their ass ruined by bad booking?
Yeah, like you said, pretty good match, but here's the thing. It just made Dolph Ziggler look super stupid. Like, okay, in his match, Sheamus costed him a spot in the King of the Ring by distraction. Sheamus is outside after he just bro-kicked Dean Ambrose. So Ziggler comes barreling down, jumps over Ambrose, and attacks Sheamus and makes Sheamus win, helps Sheamus win his match instead of, I don't know, coming down the ramp, stopping for a second, and giving Ambrose a stiff-ass kick and saying, sorry, bro, and then attacking Sheamus, killing two birds with one stone. Like, it's almost like they try to make wrestlers look fucking stupid. Because if somebody cost me a match, my main goal would be to cost them the match too, their match. Like, who even... Somebody else take over. Somebody else do say something.
Wrestling Ranton, hot tag.
All right. Yeah, I probably agree with everybody. This is probably the best match of the night, except for the ending, because the finish didn't really help anybody. It didn't help Ambrose, didn't help Ziggler, and it didn't help Sheamus, unless you're going for Sheamus as a cowardly heel, which doesn't really fit his character if you bring him back looking like a reject from the Mad Max movie. So it's not beneficial at all to it. And I did want to say something because Dave brought this up, and I was thinking about New Japan, about the King of the Ring tournament. It would be nice, because you guys asked what does the winner get. It would be nice if it was like the New Japan Cup, and that the winner of the King of the Ring tournament can decide which champion he's going to go after at winning it at the end. So yeah, that would be
the atmosphere when Ibushi this year chose was amazing. Yeah. The arena was fucking wow. What's he going to choose? Because he's a new guy, and will he go against AJ Styles? The atmosphere was amazing.
Yeah, and that's what they needed. And by the way, you don't need English to understand what he said. I got it when I watched it. Yeah, they need stuff like that. And the fact that there is no kind of end goal outside of just winning the tournament, they're using these tournament matches instead of competitive matches where we're going to get a tournament, and they're going for this, Stanley Cup time, the NBA Finals time. That they're trying to do that to kind of mirror those tournaments that are going on right now in the real sports world.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
It's a good idea if you do it right. If you make it, okay, we're going to have competitive matches. It's a thing that people can get into and really embrace. Or even like the Crockett Cup back in the day. But they can't do that when the finishes are all storylines. So you're not seeing matches, you're seeing storylines that are in a tournament. So it's not good. But this match was okay. Like I say, I agree with you guys. The finish was not helping anybody.
Next is Damien Sandow doing the shoot fape thing. And I enjoyed this a lot, and it gives me hope that Damien Sandow might get a push. I thought Damien Sandow I thought his first character was just pure money for WWE. I thought him doing characters was a punishment, but then he does The Miz. I still think it was probably a punishment, but he owns it. And now he's kind of doing this shoot big thing, like, hey, bitches, I had to do this shit. You know what I mean? Like, he basically said, you know, hey, the other wrestlers busted my balls. I'm paraphrasing here, of course. But I won over the fans. And it kind of like he was breaking the fourth wall. And when they break it, the fourth wall, a lot of times that means a big push is coming. And I think he's got the size. I think he's got the character ability. I think, like, to me, he's the perfect WWE guy. You know what I mean? I mean, he ain't going to have any 5-star matches in New Japan. He's not going to fucking light up TNA. You know what I mean? But for WWE, he's the perfect guy. He's smart. He's intelligent. Knows how to handle media. I don't know. Like, to me, he should be your next John Cena. And not that, but he's believable and people connect to him. You know, and I don't know. I just think the fact that he broke down the fourth wall and beat up Axelmania and could make fun of him, pick on him, because usually when you can break down the fourth wall and you can make fun of someone else when they have to stay in character, like John Cena did to Del Rio or NWO did to everybody, that means you're kind of getting a big push. So to me, I hope, because, you know, if this was like Mel Kiper grading, I think Damien Sandow's the perfect fit for being a WWE superstar. I just think he's the perfect fit. And hopefully this leads to something big, because every piece of shit gimmick you've given him, he's hit a home run after home run after home run. And it would be nice to have a company behind him. He basically just beats up Axelmania, which was kind of funny, you know, and all that. But he went through his whole career and all that. And the fans got into it and were excited. And it told a fucking story. You know, like, I don't care. This promo, this character, this guy, you can get behind. You can just get behind. Fucking, that's what they need for faces. They need fucking a guy that's like, yo, dude, my fucking life sucked. Look what I had to do. You know what I mean? And then take off. Because even Stone Cold had that. Remember, Stone Cold was the ringmaster. I mean, it's just, I wish they did this more often, and I hope he does good, but I'm a little worried. What are your thoughts on this segment? American a la carte?
I wasn't paying attention.
No problem. I just did.
Like who? Like
Sandow and Axel's segment.
I didn't watch it. Like,
okay.
All right, your thoughts, Russell Ranton?
Oh, I absolutely loved it. I actually laughed genuinely. I like the part where because Sandow started mimicking Axel, and he goes into the and then Axel kicks the rope and grunts off mic, and Sandow kicks it and goes, and I was like, that was genuinely funny. So that's, again, something I don't usually do watching Raw, is have genuine, the most real, authentic laugh that I've ever had in my entire life. Rocket Raccoon. I haven't done that in a while on Raw, outside of the last time I did it was when Brock Lesnar F5 Michael Cole. That was awesome. So yeah, that's always a benefit to me. If I can laugh genuinely, not at Raw, but with it, that's a good thing. Axel is good at his role. I think he's over for what he is. I don't know. I'm with Dave that I'm not. Well, actually, no. I'm not going to say I'm cautiously optimistic. I think they're going to find a way to screw it up, because the problem today is that you have so many talented people, from the Brays and the Zigglers and the Ambroses and so on and so forth. There's only so much you can do with these guys if you don't have good writing. And this kind of ties it all together. If you have good writing and you have a cast like we had in Attitude Era, it didn't matter that everybody wasn't in the main event to get significance. You didn't need to be in the main event to get significance. Nowadays, because they can't write good storylines, they can't write good feuds, if the guy isn't in the main event or winning main event matches, then it's like, okay, they're not doing anything with them. So I can't see Sandow jumping ahead of Ambrose or Ziggler or any of those, or even Neville right now. to get where he's going to be at in 3 months, where we're going to go there doing something with him. I don't think he's on track for the world title, which would be the only thing they really could do to legitimize him as a main character. So hopefully it works out better for him, and hopefully he can come up with something that'll make a feud with whoever they give him a feud with. He can come up with something to make it work, because he's done it so far with The Miz and some other people, so hopefully they can do that. That's the only way he's going to get it, if he has to do it himself.
While you were talking, I thought of this idea, and I wonder if there's any weight to it. Do you think the Attitude Era was better for this factor? Like, there's a lot of factors, but maybe this factor. Whoever the champ was, you didn't feel like they didn't deserve it. Like, even Mick Foley, you're like, oh, that's great, he deserves
big
it.
Show.
Yeah. Well, but, yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Because I was like, if the champion and main event scene is really, really good, like a Okada Tanahashi or, a Joe Punk, you know what I mean? If the main event scene is really good, I think that helps out the mid-card scene a lot. But if you're like, the main event, you're like, fuck this guy, then you're like, well, what does it fucking matter? The mid-cards, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, I think the champion has more of an effect on the company than, I guess, fans and people in the business really give credit for.
But there's a caveat to that, because if you think about Attitude Era, think of 1997, that main event roster we had by 99-2000 with Kurt Angle, Mick Foley, Rock, everybody else. 97, it was Stone Cold and The Undertaker. Shawn Michaels was on his way out. Bret Hart just left. You had two guys. All the rest of those guys were in mid-card. And because they had good storylines, because you had DX versus the Nation, because you had other interesting things going on to build those characters up by giving them good feuds, when Triple H made his move, when Mick Foley made his move, when Kurt Angle made his move and they became world champions, when The Rock made his move to become world champion, they earned it, and because they'd already been through these good storylines that you were into. They don't have that luxury now because they don't have good writing. So you can do whatever you want to put these guys in the right position. If we, like, I think there's a lot of problem you have with Bray Wyatt, because, like, Bray Wyatt is a great character. They haven't given him anything really to run with to enhance that character. So they're all stuck at that glass ceiling, and it's a lot of it has to do with the creative. And without good creative, few of these guys are going to be able to make it and be main event stars. A lot of them should be like, this should be 2000 era WWE, where you got like 5 guys that you're like, hell, any of them deserve to be world champion. Right now, a lot of them deserve it, but I wouldn't buy it.
Because, like, here's the thing, like, when it comes to, like, creative and telling stories and stuff, I right now, if you understand Japanese, or even if you don't understand Japanese, you just watch it and get the best of it, there's nothing on the New Japan card, maybe 1 or 2 matches out of 15 that I won't give a shit about. There's always a reason for it. And the same thing with Dragon Gate. A lot of people don't watch Dragon Gate because, A, it's confusing as fuck, even if you do know Japanese. But, like, there's not once, if you go to a live Dragon Gate show, and hopefully maybe one day I can take both of you gentlemen to a live Dragon Gate show, there's not one match on the card that's not important. There's not. Everyone's like, no, this is important, this is important, this is important. They have the teams, they have the points, they have the keys, they have the stuff. And I think that just goes with good storylines. I wish everything felt important, but they focus on just one thing being important, and if that one thing isn't good, you have WWE wrong. Next is probably match of the night and shock of the night. For me, I didn't think it was going to happen, but Neville versus Luke Harper, big man versus small man. I really enjoyed this match. Neville gets the win with the red arrow. I didn't see that coming. And Solomon Crowe said something on Twitter that I just want to repeat. NXT chants are the new EC dub chants. And, yeah, hopefully it keeps that up. Hopefully, I want a way that they won't bleep it out, that WWE fanboys won't be offended, but I want there to be something, if it's a CM Punk chant, a TNA chant, an NXT chant, I want there to be something to say, this is awesome, or what you're doing isn't awesome. And that's what the ECW chant was. Like, if the Dudleys came out, you'd be like, ECW, that means we supported them. But if it was a fucking King of the Ring final, and we were like, ECW, that meant, no, what you're doing is shitty. And I'm hoping that there's a chant that can catch on, that everyone can do it. But overall, this was probably match of the night, most enjoyable for me. American a la carte. We only got 2 more matches, brother. I know you're getting tapped out over there.
No, good match. Neville winning this match for the King of the Ring. I don't know if it's too early or not or whatever, but okay, Dave.
Yeah.
Imagine this. We're gonna go into. I don't know if you've seen this meme, Patrick from SpongeBob, where he's like, "What if we take this and put this here?" We're gonna do this. What if we take Luke Harper and put him where Abyss is, and take Abyss away, and Abyss just goes somewhere else?
Yeah, so it's just fucking out of nowhere, just take him apart for no reason.
No. He becomes the legitimate big man in TNA. He doesn't have to be a part of the Revolution. He just is now.
Are you talking about Abyss?
Yeah, like Abyss leaves. Abyss just retires or whatever from TNA. Luke Harper comes over and he gets the Abyss push circa, I forgot what year.
Yeah, because the Abyss used to be the best big man in the business, and I think that, it doesn't matter the company, but yeah, I think Luke Harper could be the best big man in the business. Matter of fact, I said something kind of controversial, and I thought it was controversial, and then like everyone's like, no, you're absolutely right. And I was like, phew, I'm glad I'm not alone. I think Luke Harper is better than Young Undertaker. I think Luke Harper could be a star. I just don't know why they're not making the star. Are they just putting him on hold forever?
They have no idea what to do with him.
Yeah. All right. Your thoughts on match of the night?
Or your match of the night. Mine was the other match. But
all right.
This,
like I said, the match of the night.
This was a good match. By the way, bring up the WWE fans thing when we close too, if you don't mind. I enjoyed this match. I kind of thought Neville was going to win because I've been looking at he's jobbed or lost to a lot of these guys since he's debuted. He won 1 match, I think, against I guess it was Barrett or whatever. And I figured that King of the Ring tournament, they're probably going to push him to the finals, or at least give him a very strong showing. So he'd have to win obviously have to win this match, and they're going to sell it as an upset. By the way, his red arrow it's amazing this guy can do this move as much as he's been doing it for the number of years he's been doing it and look really freaking good doing it. I mean, we've seen guys do these spot moves like this, and sometimes it's just, after they've done it a couple of years, Muda's moonsault didn't look so good, the Frankensteiner didn't look so good, but every time he nails this red arrow, it's just picture perfect. So I'm a big Neville.
I like the fact that it's an easy name to say. I know that sounds stupid, but usually it's like, they'd be like, usually it's like some crazy name move, but the fact that it's just like, oh, it's the red arrow. I'm like, I could say that. I'm stupid.
Oh, yeah, you reminded me, Michael Cole had to set Booker T straight earlier tonight on Damien Sandow's elbow, which I can't even remember the name of the damn thing. The Latin kid me, whatever the fuck he calls it. But I don't know it either, so there you go. But yeah, it's a beautiful move. It's a beautiful spot for Neville to be in right now. He needs to enjoy it while it lasts. And hopefully, like I said, he gets to the finals and they push him.
I mean, it would be a great time to get King of the Ring. It's on the network. Network's about wrestling fans.
He's gonna have a lot of, because if it's on a network, which it is, a lot of NXT fans who've seen him will know him, and that's a good venue for him to get over on a WWE show, but have it watched by a lot of people who like the NXT. Are they filming that tomorrow, or is it already filmed? Does anybody know?
It's live. I think it's live, but I could be completely wrong.
All right.
The King of the Ring finals.
You know Alucard? Do you know if it's live tomorrow?
I don't think it's live. I think it's...
Maybe they're recording it as we speak?
I think
Possibly.
so.
Oh, that would be awesome for the live audience, because I'd be pissed if I tickets King of the Ring only fucking round 1. Bullshit.
Let me check some sites and see if they're already recording.
Or spoilers, yeah, cool.
Yeah, don't tell us spoilers, though, because
yes.
we're spoilers here.
No one can spoil Daredevil, Age of Ultron, or King of the Ring for me tonight. Please don't.
Just don't do it, man.
Just don't do it.
So, Daredevil's
Did Chris Jericho diss Scott Hall and Kevin Nash and X-Pac? Like, Who is Chris Jericho now?
Chris Jericho is dead. Chris Jericho is dead. He's now cocksmoker. And the best part about the network is they're like, he's the most controversial podcaster out there. I'm like, yeah, when you give a blowjob live on fucking the podcast, you become controversial. And this Friday, he's going to give a blowjob to Stephanie McMahon. And she don't even have a penis, so I don't know, allegedly. It's going to be interesting how he's going to blow her.
She does have a strap.
Jericho's dead. Chris Jericho, rest in peace. He's just fucking cocksmoker now. He's not Lionheart. He's not Y2J. He's just Chris the cocksmoker. He's such a fucking shitty sellout. And you know what? It's good, I guess. I don't know. It's just sad. It's just, you know what it is? This is me. There's two things I hate in the world. We're just going to shoot. I hate when someone is crazy talented and wastes it by being lazy. And I hate people that fucking have talent and choose to be lazy and kiss ass instead. And Jericho is the latter. Have you ever met someone that's like, wow, you're really talented. What do you do with your life? And like, nothing. Man, can I just take your talent from you? Like from fucking Heroes? Remember when that dude in Heroes that could break necks and take away your talent? I'd be breaking a lot of motherfuckers' necks.
You mean like Highlander?
I thought you were going to say like AJ Styles.
Wow, that's not right. That's just wrong.
Too soon.
Wrong.
All right, let's talk about this main event, then we'll go comment time. All right. Roman Reigns, Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins and Kane. I just didn't give a shit. It was the biggest fucking waste of fucking time ever. I don't fucking care. You don't care. I don't care. Fucking let's just get to the thing. Orton and Reigns wins. Rollins gets in the ring, takes an RKO. I don't even want to read the results. I don't give a fucking shit. I don't. You know what I was doing? I was playing a goddamn phone app with my son. Does this fucking match even matter? This isn't a fucking house show. This is fucking Monday Night Raw, King of the Ring. It was by far the shittiest fucking booked match ever. This could have been a 97-star fucking match. I don't know. I was playing Poco Pang. Fuck you. American Alcor, would you like to add anything? Maybe get some more details than that.
When Roman Reigns came out, I immediately got up, went to the bathroom, grabbed a magazine, took a crap, and not just like a rushing crap where I got to go back and see the action. It was more of, this magazine is pretty interesting. I'm finished, clean myself and whatever. And then I put a lot of hand sanitizer on my hands, thought about some stuff, spent an extra 2-3 minutes. Then I sat back down to watch the match, the rest of it. From what I saw, Kane and Seth Rollins pretty crisp. They had some pretty good tag team maneuvers together. But the match meant absolutely nothing, not unless they're going to... Something tells me they're going to do this. Like, instead of a 3-way, it's going to be a 4-way with Kane, Rollins, Roman, and Orton. That's it.
I don't give a shit on any level. And JBL kept saying option D. You know what fucking option D should be? Seth Rollins fights a real fucking legit decent wrestler. Option D is there a decent fucking option? Wrestling ranting? Tell us why we shouldn't fucking kill ourselves.
Well, it's I don't know. The match it is what it is. It's the same main event for the last 6 months now, I guess, with variations of Seth Rollins, Kane, Roman Reigns, John Cena, Randy Orton, and not even Dean Ambrose anymore. They've taken him out of it. So, nothing match, storyline match. It was irrelevant. I think I couldn't even. I'm trying to give some positives on this. The only positive I can think of is like something I mentioned before is that the boos for Reigns seem to be dying down a little bit. Again, I think his WrestleMania performance and the performance Sunday have quieted that, because even Sunday he was getting the shit. He was booed a lot going into that match with Big Show, and by the end of it, he kind of won some people over with the performance. And I got to give him kudos for taking that damn choke slam through those 2 tables. But tonight, he tried some new wrestling moves. He tried the pump handle power bomb on Seth Rollins, stealing it from our WWE's version of Sin Cara. But he played Ricky Morton tonight. Randy Orton got the tag, and I actually stopped watching at the end after they decided. I did, because they were all on there. I went back to watch some
Dear
important real life.
WWE, we've been fans for like fucking 900 goddamn years between all three of us. And we love pro wrestling. I love pro wrestling so much, I fucking did a fucking review of Main Event. I just don't give a shit. Don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Let me, can I be an asshole for a second? Can I get a hot tag to be an asshole? One of the things that pisses me off about Roman Reigns is this statement. People only hate him because they hate their lives. He's being cheered. Depression is over. Depression is cured. Roman Reigns solved depression. No one hates their lives anymore. Everyone, you cheer fucking Roman Reigns, and nope, no depression. I'm sorry, dear psychiatrist, you're out of business. Out of business. Roman Reigns isn't getting booed anymore. Dude, I still, to this day, cannot believe the fucking piece of shit media scumbag didn't have a follow-up question. Like, it's fucking insane. Let's go to the polls. Option D, decent wrestler. Oh, it's not on the board. You have. Would you like a piece of pizza with dirt on it? Would you like a piece of pizza with glass in it, or would you like 18 freshly hot pepperoni pizzas? And survey says no. Triple threat match wins with 78%, or Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins at 15%. And Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins with 7%. So Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins beat out Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins, but the obvious choice was the triple threat match because WWE. So yeah, that happened. Where's option D? A decent wrestler. That's it. Every time we're like, yeah, a decent wrestler has the title. Oh, he's going to feud with Kane. Here comes Randy Orton, John Cena. Yep, all right, well, there you fucking have it. And all those Roman Reigns fans, I'm glad Roman Reigns got rid of depression. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, people suffer with depression. Not anymore. Roman Reigns fucking cured that, according to Roman Reigns. But hear me out on this one. How much shittier would this fucking Raw and how much shittier would these pay-per-views be if Seth Rollins wasn't champ? That's pretty damn shitty, folks. All right. You guys want to stay for comments or tap out? Because I know you guys got real jobs and it's like not 2 o'clock there. American Alucard, do you want to stay for comments? What's that?
I'll tap out. I got some videos to make. Well,
all right.
Not really.
The American Alucard, I feel like a whore. Come on.
What do you mean?
Like, I got videos. I really don't. I'm not even going to make up an excuse. There's just no chemistry. There's got to be no
Grand
second
Theft Auto
date.
5 on PC is amazing, and I don't think I'm about to beat the game, but it's a pretty good storyline. So,
But if John Cena is the good guy given if John Cena was a video game, this is how it would be. You decide what color gear he has. You press start. He's the champ. You press A. Game's over.
but what button do you press for him to pull out his dish rag?
No, it's a John Cena WWE video game. He does that automatically. That's what do they call it in a video game? Not a clip show. Fuck, what do they call it? Fuck, I forgot. I'm not up with the video game terminology. A cutscene, isn't it called a cutscene? Yeah, the title's a cutscene. That's it. You just got to press A and you win the title. John Cena. Dun 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 dun. WWE 2K16 coming out for nothing.
The last boss, he hits an AA on them, a weak one at that, a sloppy AA, and he just wins the match.
Well, maybe that's the sequel. That's WWE 2K7, and you hit the AA by hitting A twice, and then John Cena fans are like, "This is too fucking hard. I'm putting it down." American Alucard, tell people where they can find you because we're about to go live comment question time.
The American Alucard on YouTube, TheeE American a la carte, and on Twitter, that would be American a la carte. And you'll probably see console gaming, LOL. So yeah, that's the best ways to get in contact with me. So yeah.
All right.
Thanks for having me,
How
guys.
awesome it is. All right. Good luck with your video game, sir.
I'll try. Well, yeah, it won't be hard because John Cena's not in
If John Cena was in it, it would be crazy easy. Just press A, you win the title. All
it. Somebody
right.
needs to make a John Cena mod. All right, guys.
American a la carte, you've got to leave so we can talk bad about you. Oh, he's gone. Let's talk bad about him. Wrestling Rant, did you want to stay for live comments or are you tapping out?
Well, I wanted to talk about that fan thing that you brought up earlier.
All right, what do you want to talk about WWE fans, boys?
Well, because it's come up a lot, and I think the last time I was on here, you were talking about another podcasters and the flagging and all this kind of stuff. And
Yeah, that sucks. Don't do that.
as Dave knows, sometime last week I encountered, because he's always ragging about all these podcasters that are WWE defenders, and I'd never seen one until last week.
Yeah, I get them sent to my inbox. People are like, "Have you seen this?" I'm like, I don't want to know. WWE's great. I understand.
Yeah. Well, here's the kind of the thing that's because I know people watch the show and they obviously send us messages and everything. If you are a WWE fan, there's no problem with that. If you actually genuinely like this product and you actually genuinely like what they do in the ring,
If that's the case, I'm happy for you.
that's perfectly fine. The problem comes when you are a person who are a fan and you denigrate people, and we're all familiar with this by using the term IWC, by using the term indie wrestlers, by using a lot of these terms that are supposed to marginalize people who are not singularly WWE fans or drink the WWE Kool-Aid or defenders. Again, that is your prerogative, and it's fine to go through that issue. But by definition, what you're actually doing is saying that we are, in fact, wrestling fans. We're not just the fact that we watch other forms of wrestling means we are wrestling fans. Some of you are sports entertainment fans, and it's great. Like Dave said earlier, WWE's great at the lights, at the promos, the pyro, the video packages, big booming, exploding things, catchphrases, T-shirts. All that stuff is wonderful and great, but the product, the essence, the actual product that we're all watching, pro wrestling, the act of a story being told in an athletic competition, told in as theater, that's what we're all there for. That's the core of the product. That's the W between the W and the E. If you're not into that, then it's fine to be a sports entertainment fan, but you're not a pro wrestling fan, and you shouldn't denigrate people for being pro wrestling fans. Pro wrestling fans who love wrestling, who actually love a show, the reason why we rag on it sometimes is because we love it. It's not because we hate the WWE or we're all getting off on hating John Cena. There's some people who do that, true. But it's not because we don't like the product. It's because we actually love wrestling. True love is not burying your head in the sand and just kind of ignoring all the bad things. No, true love, even if you have a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever you have out there, a dog that you love, the dog will piss on your floor. That doesn't mean you bury your head in the sand. It's like, okay, it's great. That's fine. The dog pissed on the floor. It's great. That pee smells awesome. You don't do that. You say, I love the dog, but the dog pisses on the floor. It's okay to point out things that are bad. It's okay to point out that John Cena has been overexposed. It's okay to point out that Roman Reigns is not worthy of getting the main event at WrestleMania, that the writing is bad. It's fine to do that. It doesn't mean that we hate the product. It means that we actually love it. If you bury your head in the sand about something and you don't acknowledge when it's wrong, and when it's good, and when it's bad, you're not so much of a fan. You're just kind of there just to be there. So that's my only thing. Leave the indie fans alone. Leave the IWC fans alone. We're all supposed to be fans of the same genre. Let's actually be fans of it and be honest about it. So that's enough of my soapbox.
Yeah, and not that, but there's a lot I want to say. Is like WWE success is not your success. A lot of people fucking do that, and on top of that is, it's the smartest guy in the room complex. Like, here's an example. I watch more Japanese pro wrestling. So if Wrestler Rankin asks me a question about a guy in Japanese pro wrestling, he doesn't get mad that I know more about it. He's more of a historian. He knows Wrestling Rankin knows a lot, so I'll be like, "Hey, how did this go down? How did this go down?" And then he tells me. I'm not mad. I think it's WWE has pulled a great thing where if people don't like the product, they're wrong, and you're so smart. Like I never understood that. You go on YouTube, everyone's like, "I'm smart. I'm on YouTube, and you're smart because you listen to me. Ain't we smart?" No one says that in the real world. It's just you want to be the smartest guy in the room. And just here, take example baseball. I like baseball. You like baseball. You're a baseball fan. I'm a baseball fan. All right. I watch the Rays, and I watch the Tokyo Giants. If you watch more than the Rays and the Tokyo Giants, you know more than me, and that's not a bad thing. If you watch all Major League Baseball, you know more than me. Now, if someone else watches Major League Baseball and Minor League Baseball and Japan Baseball and Cuba Baseball, they know more than you. And that's okay. Like, if I go to someone and be like, "Wow, dude, you know about the Yankees and you know a lot about the Yankees, that's cool. Inform me." But nowadays, you want to be the smartest guy in the room. That if someone knows more than you, you're like, "You're fucking dumb. You fucking just because this that." Knowledge shouldn't be hated on, and don't try to be the smartest guy in the room. Just enjoy it, and like it. You know what I mean? Too many people let's put it this way: this week on YouTube, go around. I'm sure people watch more YouTubers. Find out how often they say they're smart. And how often they say their audience is smart. Now, imagine that in any other industry. Me and Wrestling Rankin, we work in a lot of mediums, a lot of different styles of media. When's the last time, outside of wrestling, someone mentioned how smart they were?
None of my other podcasts does anybody ever bring that up.
Nope. And could you just imagine? I haven't seen Avengers. You haven't seen the new Avengers. Can you imagine being like, I didn't like the new Avengers because I'm smart? You'd just be like, this guy's kind of special. And it's the thing. You get these fans, they want to be in the business, and they want to be successful so bad that they just feel like they have to defend it. And my whole thing is, if you're like that, then just say you're a WWE fan. And if people like, it ain't for me. Like, here's an example. I love all different styles of wrestling, but I don't like Undertaker matches, like the death, the characters. When it gets a little over the top, I don't like that. Now, you Wrestling Rankin here, he loves that stuff. You're a fan of that. That doesn't mean he's fucking wrong or an idiot, or you know what I mean? Just have a conversation and be passionate about it. And I think you're not passionate about the product. You're passionate about. You're not passionate about the product. You're not passionate about the style. You're not even passionate about wrestling. You're passionate about a company, and that's what scares me.
Yes,
that's what scares me.
Bandwagon jumpers.
Yep. Like I can't believe there are fans about our age saying, "Oh, well, you grew up a Hulkamaniac." Like, no, I didn't. You grew up a WWE fan. No, I didn't. No, it's fucking crazy. No.
The best thing you should probably do, too, if you're one of those people, is when you do encounter and get into debates, we should call them with people who do know more. You should, what I always do when I meet people who know more, like Dave knows way more about current New Japan than I do, I just shut my mouth and listen. I don't try to debate them and then say ridiculous things like, I don't know, ECW was bigger than New Japan. Because you automatically null and void your credibility right out the box from there. Have some knowledge about what you're talking about. And there's lots of stuff there.
WWE, or do you think it's just media? Because you ever notice you have to be a blowhard now? You have to fucking be like, oh, I fucking know everything. Like, no one cracks me up. The more confident someone is on YouTube, the fucking, like, shittier their fucking job is, and they haven't fucking really worked in the business. I like that aspect of it, you know?
Yeah,
it's like, I don't know.
There's a thing where you ask people, and my thing is always when I get into debates with people is to challenge them, because I do know a little bit about wrestling, having been a fan for now almost 30 years, and I say, look, here's what happened back on this date, this date, this date, this date, this date. You're saying something that doesn't make any sense at all. You're going to tell me that ECW is bigger than New Japan Pro Wrestling, and you're going to tell me all this kind of stuff. New Japan Pro Wrestling at its heyday was drawing 60, 50,000 people for the January shows. They're down to 30, 35 now, but still, they're drawing a lot more people than ECW ever did in an arena. They're a big company. They're number 2 in the world. Yeah. If you tell me that they're Bush League and you can't tell me anybody's a champion, you can't tell me anything that's going on with it. If you tell me that those guys had to come over here to be stars, Antonio Inoki, I don't think he did. Giant Baba didn't think he did either. Neither did Muda or Fujinami. My point is, you have to have some reference of knowledge. Do your research. If you're going to come on YouTube and you're going to do these shows, be like Dave and have experience. Be like Alucard and be a passionate fan. You can be like me and have experience, but bring something to the table of knowledge that you have some sort of knowledge to pull from. Because otherwise, you're just talking out of your ass and you get exposed very quickly, and then you just try to cover it with your ego because you value your ego more than you value knowledge. And that's not a good thing. We're here to enjoy wrestling and talk about it. We're not here to kind of have this dick wagging contest.
Well, and not only that, but this is also an important thing too. Like I volunteer and I live in Tokyo and I teach people English. I volunteer doing that. It's one of my gigs. But here's the thing: what's the most important words in the English language? I don't know. Here's the thing: like, don't just make shit up. Here's the example. There's stuff I don't know. There's stuff I forgot because I'm punch drunk. You know how often I'm like, oh, I don't know. And someone in the audience does know, that's what social media should be. That's what, I don't know. It's just crazy.
Sharing information, man.
And here's my thing. If you love WWE, then just be honest. I love WWE no matter what. But here's my thing. Why get a second opinion? That's the part I don't get. Like, I got knocked for being too negative on a TNA review, and I just sent them to ImpactWrestling.com. If you don't want to, first off, why would a review not have any negativity in it? That's fucking bizarre. That's bonkers to me. What the fuck's the point?
It's not a review. It's not a review. It's a commercial at that point.
Yeah, and the second thing is, let's say, let's put it this way. I love Lucha Underground. To me, Lucha Underground is the perfect product. I don't watch Lucha Underground reviews. Why? Because I fucking like the product. You know what I mean? I don't fucking need to. If you love the product so much, that's why I don't understand all positive reviews. I don't understand that. Because if you want an all positive review, just go to WWE.com. I don't fucking get it. It's a lot of stuff I don't get. But yeah, it's really interesting. And wrestling, it seems to have these problems more than other stuff does. All right, you staying for comment time, or are you tapping out? Because there's a lot of comments, sir.
Yeah, you can go through. I'll let you know if I need to tap out.
All right, you tap out when you can. I'm going to try to go fast. Raw versus Manatee tonight. Oh, Lennox versus you love the Manatee idea. All right. I will bring. If Raw sucks next week, I'll make you a promise, Lennox. Because I was going to do it every week, but then it only got over with Lennox Wooderson. Like, you know how you do something and the demographic of Lennox Wooderson loves it and no one else does?
Yeah.
I'll do Raw versus Manatees next week if Raw sucks. That's almost like a guarantee. Lennox Wooderson, do you think WWE wanted Austin on their shit list just so he doesn't embarrass Cena and Stephanie in interviews? That's why it was Jericho, not Austin. Stone Cold's not a Cena fan. That's a possibility. I mean, I think WWE has a monopoly, and they just want to pay people as little as possible with as much ass kissing as possible.
I
think Stone Cold, he's a company guy, but he's not an ass kissing guy. Well,
you said Stone Cold doesn't like Cena. Where did that come from?
He's asked. Well, not like Cena is a lot different. I don't think he doesn't like Cena, but when Cena's on the podcast, he legit asks him tough questions and legit challenges him on stuff. And nowadays, that's not liking someone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if they actually hate each other. But I know,
asking him to snug up on a headlock is not hating him. I think I did hear he got pissed about the springboard stunner though.
Yeah, and I could imagine. He's like, it's a horrible joke, but Stone Cold's looking around like, do I look like Kenta, motherfucker? Power play. There's so much. There is no such thing as evil. If your perspectives on who's right, everybody's good in their own minds, and everyone has different perspectives on what they believe is evil. That's true. That is true.
Child molesters are evil. Sorry, they are. Child molester is fucking evil. There's no way you can spin that shit for me. Sorry.
Yeah, well, there's someone that spins it, but we'll see. But what are you trying to do? Get me to leak out information about my book, jerk?
No,
You're as bad as Rob. Rob, dude, in the middle of a podcast will just be like, "Oh yeah, that'd be cool if someone wrote this book." Like, Rob, you fucking know the book I wrote, you jerk.
Nope.
Oh, man. But all right. Yeah, no fucking spoilers. I got a book coming out. Pump your brakes there. Lennox.
You spoiled it. I just a child molester for evil. That's all.
Lennox Wooderson, does Jericho know that he's a sellout? He has to. I think he has to. Tom Mannion says Jericho is now dead. His name, this new bloke is just some guy called Chris. No, he has a last name. It's Chris Cocksmoker. Let's be respectful. Total Nonstop Action says, "What a boring night of entertainment. I got to give Neville props, though. He's the future."
It's kind of an oxymoron. Boring night of entertainment.
BNE. That should be WWE's new initials.
Yes.
Welcome to BNE. Tom Beninian says, "Why is Cena still feuding with Rusev?" That's $1 million question. I have no idea.
God, and I gotta watch this match live. Jesus, I thought it would be over by the time they got to Baltimore.
Well, who knows? Maybe the Russians will win one in Baltimore. Cena's not getting over with this. Even it should be a slam dunk. Rusev will be further devalued. LOL at the still insisting this will elevate him. Yeah, that's a lie that all wrestlers on every level make. Losing to me will elevate you. That they lie about that even on the indies. The saving grace is that Cena is kept away from fresh talent for the time being. Rusev's kind of fresh talent though.
Yeah.
I guess he's only ruining one instead of ruining six.
There is something to be said. Cena's trying to do it like Flair used to do that. Flair would wrestle, but he wouldn't beat them. Flair would wrestle Barry Windham's and Kerry Von Erichs and make them look like $1 million because they go 45 minutes with him. And Cena, I guess he thinks he's doing the same thing, but it's not. Flair put people over by them going toe-to-toe with him. Going toe-to-toe with Cena and getting beat by an AA, it's not putting anybody over.
All right. Brandon says, lost, fucking lost. Bray Wyatt just sealed his fate by feuding with Ryback. I commented about this on Wrestling Renton's channel. It would have made more sense for him to feud with Reigns by giving him a roadblock to overcome. If he's going to be a main eventer, this would have made his push a little more organic instead of being forced down our throats. Reigns has no business being in a main event for now until he can prove he belongs in it. Dolph Ziggler needs to jump ship and go to New Japan. That would be amazing. If Dolph Ziggler does jump ship and go to New Japan, just don't be in the Bullet Club. It's just
that's going to happen. If he went there, he'd be taken over from AJ.
Yeah, possibility. Neville is probably not getting any further than Sheamus, but I have hope. I hope so too. Lennox Witter says of all the old timers holding down the young talents because they aren't ready, quote marks, are we officially in WCW's 2000 booking territory? Maybe. I don't know. The thing is, everyone has a line. My line is, I'm going to give WWE this. Everyone's like, when are you going to quit watching wrestling? I'll probably never quit watching wrestling with alternatives like Lucha and the New Japan and all that. I probably won't quit watching wrestling, but I might quit watching WWE, and I never thought it would come down to this. It's when Triple H takes over, I'm giving Triple H 2 years to turn the product around. And when Triple H is officially in charge of WWE and Vince McMahon steps down, and it's 2 years past, I'm done. You know what I mean? It's got to be good then. But everyone has their different thing. But yeah, as far as... Yeah, but the thing is, I don't know, that's kind of a knock on WCW because WWE would have been the same way if they didn't have WCW buying out all their talent. I think that's more of a knock on pro wrestling.
I don't know. Well, the big problem with WCW, though, is that you had guys with creative control.
That was a huge mistake.
WWE doesn't have that. The problem with WWE now is not so much that the old guys are keeping their spots, is that Vince is scared to go with the new guys, and he's still calling the shots.
Yeah. Power play. I thought he was going after Mark Henry. That's what it sounded like. They're not giving Mark Henry anything ever again. Google screwed up YouTube. Slow claps. Thank you guys so much for intelligent analysts. We're smart. We're smart. So you are good looking. I am good looking. This is YouTube review. No, just kidding. Doesn't it? I don't know. Sometimes I feel like that's what other YouTubers do. I don't mean to talk shit, but a bunch of people send me videos like, "What do you think of this guy?" And I'm like, I just can't. I can't take it, man. I'm tapping out about the whole New Day racist gimmick and Vince in general. When the New Day videos first came out, I got into so many comment wars about how racist the gimmick was. Anyone who thinks they worked your brother is either a damn fool or unconsciously racist themselves. Bravo, gentlemen. Bravo.
Who said that?
Google screwed up YouTube.
Oh, give yourself a Barry Horowitz. I stole your line. I stole your line. I stole your line.
It feels good, doesn't it? No, it is great. Like, our podcast is pretty much a failure compared to other YouTube success. But the fact that people know who Barry Horowitz is now and didn't, I think that's our greatest accomplishment on YouTube.
Well,
like, if I died tomorrow and you're like, wow, he spent a lot of time on YouTube and not being successful, like, very true. Hashtag fact. But the fact that there might be a 16, 18, 21-year-old man going, give yourself a Barry Horowitz, I'll know that my spirit will live on.
I don't know about unsuccessful because compared to the ratings for everybody else's show, you're probably up there. They don't get any views, period. So,
all right. Let's focus on Franielli here. Neville did mention Owen during his shoot promo before his match with Harper. Oh, that's awesome. I must have missed it. Good catch there, Franielli. Give yourself a Barry Horowitz.
That's my line.
Sorry, dude. It can be everyone's line. It's like DFTBA. Granted, it started with somebody, but we're gonna make it grow. Lennox Waters had said Cena evaluated Daniel Bryan by doing the single thing that elevates talent. He laid down for him. Everyone else he wrestles hits the Cena ceiling. Wyatt, Sandow, Miz, Ryback, and Punk had a limit. The U.S. Open Challenge helps no one but Cena because it keeps him winning in relevance.
That is very true. Very true.
Fucking give yourself a Barry. We're giving way too many Barry Horowitzes here, but you guys are bringing up some great points.
That is a brilliant point because, yes, when Cena won a championship, you're like, yeah, they're going to elevate the U.S. title. The gimmick, though, is irrelevant because he's going into a pay-per-view match, so you know he's not going to lose. So that kind of deflates the whole purpose of having the damn challenge because you know it's not going to mean anything.
Yeah, well, usually they even have a match. They didn't even have a match tonight.
Exactly. It's silly.
Why? Why would they give him a match? I mean, I guess, try to defend WWE. Let's be WWE defenders for a second. Rusev thought Mr. 3MB was going to win the title, and he wants the title for himself at the pay-per-view? I mean, when you say it out loud, it sounds even stupider.
Well, since WWE's stealing our ideas here, and they've done it quite a few times now, what you guys really should do over there, WWE? Instead of I get the Cena Challenge, U.S. Challenge opportunity. I think it'd be more interesting if he defended the title against somebody who was from that area. Like if you go to Pacific Northwest, defend it against Bryan. If you go to Cleveland,
what Kurt Angle did with indie guys from there.
Yeah,
I mean, it was as being an indie fan back when Kurt Angle was doing it. It was amazing seeing indie guys represent their city. It was just cool, and it still did the same thing, and it helped. It helped, fans get into it because you'd be like, "Wow, that's our guy." There's a home field feeling to it, and you're not ruining people under contract.
That is what, and that's what the old world champions used to do. That's what Flair did when he was the champion. You go around to different territories and make their top guy look $1 million. Every time Cena goes to a town, defend it against the guy from that town. You got enough stars, you can, do that.
All right. And, give yourself a Barry Horowitz for being the most culturally diverse wrestling podcast out there. And this is from Google Screwed Up YouTube. I love you all like my brothers. Not in a traditional sense, in a way that black people used to. Seems to have more meaning that way. All right, that's way over my head. But, yeah, thank you for the compliment. Total nonstop action. Sup, Coco and Mr. TNA himself, the one and only Alucard from America. I wish I was here.
See, they left me out on that one. So they got me. They left him out on that.
So we're 1-1. We're 1-1. So, all right. Google Screwed Up YouTube. If Kenta came out with a gimmick like Raiden or those dudes from Big Trouble in Little China, I would shake my head at the racism, but mark out like a bitch if he pulls off the crazy Raiden flying moves.
They already did that. It was called Hakushi, 1995. There's my history lesson for today. Hakushi, WWE, 1995. That was Raiden. They did it already, believe me.
Lennox Wooderson says, will Reigns be the top guy in 3 years' time, or does an NXT talent take the rightful spot? I don't know. Roman Reigns is a very interesting thing because he could be the right guy, and he could be the right guy done right. So I think it's interesting. I think it has the same feel about who the Buccaneers should draft at number 1 quarterback. Like, is this the right guy? I don't know. It has a feel to it. And every week, maybe we should have a Roman Reigns up and down meter if he's losing points and being the number 1 guy or gaining points. Because I think at WrestleMania, the year build up to Mania, he lost a lot of points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At WrestleMania, I think he got a lot of points. The last couple shows after Mania, I think he's been getting those points back. So it's kind of interesting. Maybe we should have a watch and a score. And then when you're 100%, that means you're at The Rock and Stone Cold's level. So if it's 1 out of 100, if one is you just bought yourself wrestling trunks for the first time, and 100 is The Rock, what point value do you have for that? 100 is and a Rock type character where he has everything clicking for him. Because The Rock, when he was on top, had everything clicking for him. Sports entertainment, wrestling, you know what I mean? Same thing with Stone Cold. So let's say you're the hottest you can possibly be with every demographic, and you just walked into a wrestling school being number 1. Where do you rank him right now, 1 to 100?
Reigns is a 50. He and a funny thing again, like I said, I went back and watched the Wyatt Shield match from last year. He was mad over in that match. Yeah. Poppy he was probably about a 70 then. And then his injury happened, and they booked him badly, and he went down. He's gotten some respect back. He's about at a 50. He's got the women. I don't know if the kids are as into him as they are into Cena. And about half of the guys maybe are giving him a pass right now. So he's got a ways to go. He's got to win over the kids. He's got to win over the hardcore wrestling fans.
I work with kids 24/7, and this is going to give me some heel heat. Yep. It's easy to win over kids. Me and James Legend, he ran a charity show this Sunday, and he runs charity shows directed towards children. And I'm like, no, booking for children is easy. And I work with kids 24/7, and it's easy. It's not hard to fucking entertain kids.
And yet they fail at it with him.
That's true. That is true.
Because he's not, you don't see a lot of kids with that they gave him everything. They gave him a catchphrase. They gave him that little shotgun thing he does with the Superman punch. You don't see a lot of kids in the audience doing that. So until and that's the demographic that they're going for, even though it's not their core. If he's going to be the next guy, he's got to get that demographic for the way they got their company laid out. So until he does that, he's at a 50.
All right. I agree. I'm going to give him a 55. I'm going to give him the Matsui. I think he's turning it up a little bit.
What is this? The price is right. You just bid $5 more than that.
Exactly. I'm like
$1.
I'd like to agree with Wrestling Ranted, but he's obviously an idiot. I'm going to go with a 51. What if Tough Enough only accepted indie wrestling talent? Do you think they would see as many winners flop? Yeah. In WWE, it's rigged. And what I mean by that is they have had indie wrestlers on, but they use them as an example. M-Dog 20 was an example. And what they want to do is ruin indie wrestling. I don't think they even give a fuck if the winner does good. I don't. I think they want to have an indie guy, and I'm hoping it's not Yuhan Nation. They want to have an indie guy that fucking people love to be eliminated by fucking Trish goddamn Stratus. So that you can be like, wow. And they'd be like, well, it's not about wrestling. They want that, and not that, but then that message gets shot through the indies, and wrestlers believe it. I mean, I was talking to a local indie wrestler, not local in Japan, but in Florida. I was talking to a Florida wrestler, and he's like, dude, every single person in the indies right now thinks Vince McMahon has ears everywhere. He's like, it's fucking ridiculous. Like, he'd be like, I thought Raw sucked. He's like, how can you say that? And he looks around, he's like, it's just me and you in a car. But Vince might have the fucking my career. I can't say WWE was bad.
Vince doesn't even. He doesn't even know half the roster in NXT. Let alone be looking at you guys. Come on.
Power play. I want to see two heels fighting for a chance to go against a face. They do it they do it the other way around all the time. Why couldn't it work? Heel versus heel is very hard with a live audience. It's just hard with a live audience, especially if you got two really good heels. I learned that with Cedric Strong and Legion Cage. I was like, man, everyone hates them. Like, I was a very young booker and made some mistakes. But this is one of my biggest mistakes. I had Legion Cage and Cedric Strong. They were our biggest fucking heels. And I was like, oh, fuck, I don't have matches for them, but I want them both on the card. And, a young booker goes, well, just have them wrestle each other. Not realizing that who the fuck do they cheer for? It's a live audience. It's like, I hate that motherfucker. I hate that motherfucker. You're fighting each other. And fuck you guys. You know what I mean? And I left, but once you have legit heel heat and you got legit heel heat and it's two legit, not cool heels. Maybe cool heels you can pull it off. But legit, I fucking hate you heel heat. They just shit on the whole match because they want to boo and talk shit. You need a good guy or an underdog. You know what I mean? So that's why. I mean, cool heels or cool tweeners, I think, can pull it off. But legit heels, they can't because the fans are going to be like, I fucking hate you, and I fucking hate you, and I fucking hate the match. And then you basically get casual fans becoming angry as internet fans, and you don't want that.
Yeah.
So that's why they don't do it. I mean, cool heels or cool tweeners could probably pull it off, but not super good heels. Like Rusev and who would else be on Rusev's level as being a heel?
As a heel right now, nobody. I mean,
all right, so Rusev and Rusev's clone. If Rusev versus Rusev's clone happened, they would fucking shit on the match because they hate both of them.
Yeah. Although you can pull, I can go back to Hanson and Vader. If you got two guys who are brutes and you're like, well, we're going to see a fucking fight. Hanson and Vader, you could go with that. But this is the PG era, and they don't wrestle strong style, so you can't get that. So it's not going to work in WWE.
Lennox Wooderson says Cody Rhodes needs to hop onto the New Japan train with Ziggler and put his talents to use. Lennox Wooderson also, this is a good one. Name one realistic thing WWE would do to make you stop watching. I don't know. I answered this earlier, but I'll answer it again. I'm burnt out on WWE, and not only that, but like when to me as a fan, this ain't the worst time. I don't know when your worst time was. My worst time was when there wasn't much competition. Cena, Batista, and Orton were on top. That was my worst time. So I don't think it's the worst time, but it's getting fucking kind of pathetic, and it's getting close to that bad. But now there's alternatives. I will never probably stop watching pro wrestling as long as there's alternatives, and I live in Tokyo. But I'm giving Triple H 2 years. When Vince McMahon steps down and Triple H takes over. Because NXT gives me hope. But who knows? Maybe Triple H is just full of shit and taking credit for something he's not really doing. You know what I mean? That's a scary point. Well, when Triple H takes over for 2 years, and I feel as shitty as I do now, I'll be done with the WWE product. I'm just like, I'm done. There has to be something. Because this is probably maybe the third or fourth shittiest time I felt being a wrestling fan. A lot of people think, oh, this is the worst time. No. When Dave Batista, Orton, and Cena were on top, that was the fucking worst. That was the worst. Because it was a three-headed monster, and every pay-per-view had one or more of those guys, and it was horrible. Horrible, I tell you. What was the worst time for you, and would you ever stop watching WWE? Like, is there a line in the dirt for you, or are you just like, fuck it, I've been doing it this long, I'll continue?
Well, as far as in the near future, I'm probably not going to stop watching just because of the amount of talent they have in NXT and the possibility that, these guys are going to eventually be on the main roster. They're going to have to work overtime to make a roster of Kenta, Prince Devitt, Kevin Steen, Dolph Ziggler, Dean Ambrose, yada, 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 bad. My worst time, I go through phases in wrestling. Like before 2 years ago, I wasn't watching that much, but the worst when I actually did stop watching for about 6 months was 93. And that was the year where the Lex Express, Giant Gonzalez in the WWE and the whole slam on the aircraft carrier. And then WCW had that That was Dustin Rhodes against the Blacktop Bully, and they were fighting on a on a moving. Oh my God, it's so bad. I remember it now. They're fighting on a moving truck with hay, and the match was filmed on the back of a truck. I kid you not. This was WCW in 1993. So
I'm only smiling because it was so bad, but it was awesome.
It's so terrible.
I would still take those over the Orton thing because at least it was fun. It was horrible, but it was fun.
It was terrible.
Orton, Cena, and I will just call him the three-headed monster. The three-headed monster, that wasn't even fun. But I'm going to lose some street cred. I'm going to lose some street cred. You ready?
Yeah.
I knew the Lex Express and Lex Luger sucked. Still didn't bother me that much.
It was just boring as hell to me. But you brought up the thing about NXT. I don't know if I mentioned this to you. I think it was probably okay. But I said, isn't it kind of interesting with Triple H? He's kind of doing what Vince did 30 years ago. Vince went and got all the major guys from the territories, brought them into WWE, and we saw what happened to the territories. Is NXT Triple H going and getting all the major guys from the indies, and then hoping that they die out the same way?
Yeah, that you wrote a column on that. It was featured on our KocoSports.net. Oh, that's revenge for a fucking cheap plug. That's cheap plug revenge. How does it feel?
It's awesome. It's awesome. But it's on. That is a Wrestling Rantin' exclusive on Coco Sports because it's not on my site. So go to KocoSports.net and check out that interview, that article about is NXT just a way to shut down the indies like Vince did the territories back in the day.
Possibility. It's a scary thing. It's especially, yeah.
I don't think that'll happen because there's just way too much. I mean, indies are indies. It's not like the territories. And there's always going to be new guys making indie shows, backyard wrestling. So,
well, none of that, but for television and shit, it's really cheap. So yeah. Someone will be like, oh, if I can WWE, because they're like, oh, WWE makes a lot of money. And they're like, wow, it's really cheap to compete. So I think there'll always be people trying to be the alternative. I don't know if they'll be successful, but I think there'll always be someone like a Lucha Underground, a TNA, a Global Force, just because of how much return you could get if you're successful and for how cheap it is compared to other entertainment.
And I honestly don't think, and I know you'll probably disagree with me with this, but I don't think it would be that hard for somebody if they had a good marketing team and they had a couple million to run with to be able to compete. They'd have to be aggressive. You'd have to go and you'd have to put commercials on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, I find it absolutely crazy that other feds don't do that.
Yeah, Lucha does it. But
if you are an indie fed or an alternative and you're not advertising on Raw, you're a fucking idiot.
You're an idiot, yes.
You are a fucking moron. Period. End of fucking story. Because, pro wrestling fans, I'd like to advertise to them. People that are not happy with the product but still fucking watch. I mean, come on, dude, you got
and advertise like if you're Global Force, say Jeff Jarrett's got $100 million. I know he doesn't, but say if you have the money to get celebrity endorsements or whatever, have a hot feud with your celebrity. Say it's Chael Sonnen or whoever they're bringing in there, and don't just advertise on Raw. Hey, check out our show. You advertise your storyline that's really hot, so people watching Raw will go, "Oh, that looks interesting. I'll check that out." Or at least they'll hear about it. But they don't. The other pro wrestling companies really need to hook up with some marketing agencies to figure out how to do this shit right.
Yeah. I know that, but like the big thing that you're battling people that feel WWE is now their team. And that's hard to break because the thing is, when ECW came out, no one said I was a WWE fan. People were like, oh, I'm a pro wrestling fan. I watched WCW and WWE. So there wasn't that bullshit loyalty that shouldn't be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nowadays, people feel like the WWE is their personal Yankees.
Yeah.
So like I think it's harder now than ever, but still can be done.
Yeah. If you take a lesson from Eric Bischoff, what he did, the only one of the few things I agree with him, he said, make a really big noise over here and get everybody going, ooh, I like that.
Yep.
That's what you do.
And be different and just go for it. Let's see. Google screwed up YouTube. What is the sound of a mid-card being buried? Dun, 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 dun! Rest in peace, Rusev's career and the rest of the mid-card. All right. Hook and Shoot says, every year they have the king of the Ring tournament is and surprised that they haven't disbanded it entirely. Honestly, I think they should because it meant anything since the first one was held. I don't know about that. There were some King of the Rings that mattered.
Yeah, the second one was Owen Hart, and that pretty much put him in lower mid card or lower.
Yeah, and Stone Cold wasn't the first one, was he?
No, Bret Hart was the first one. Stone Cold was.
Yeah, so there's a lot. Hook and shoot, I agree. I don't know. I like it because it's so simple. Though what they got to do, though, they just have to care about it. I know that sounds crazy. You can fix King of the Ring instantly. Instantly. Yeah. Care about it.
It has to matter.
And I'm not saying the fans. I'm saying WWE creative, the WWE wrestlers, the WWE announcers. It's a tournament. How? You're
in
going out of your way
tournament
to
season.
fuck it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're going for the NBA playoffs, the Stanley Cup. That's why you're doing this now, because it's tournament season in sports. So make it an athletic thing where you have winners and losers. This is not a hard concept to get.
And the thing is, Japan abuses the tournaments.
Yes,
Japan
they do.
just abuses tournaments. Dude, and it works. It works because here's the thing.
Do they matter?
No, because this is how it works. Because you go to a wrestling bar and you're like, oh, are you watching the tag match? Nah, not really. Like, oh, well, they have this tag team. All right, I'll watch it. Oh, fuck, that's in Tokyo? I'll go. Oh, it's in Tokyo for 2-3 days? I'll go. Oh, fuck, this has been great. I got to keep track. What? It's only an hour away? The tournaments, it's the easiest fucking story and idea to possibly fucking run. Like, dude, if you're an indie booker right now, you're like, I don't know what to do next show. Tournament. Problem solved. Writes itself. It's just, yeah, I don't know. All they have to do is care about it.
Yes.
Larry Hammer fondly remembers the Mexicans on the John Deere tractors. Who could ever forget the evil Asian gang that was going to cut the wang off Val Venus? Devon Dudley was once a WWE preacher. Vince has always booked people like that, and to be honest, it still makes me laugh. Only today, it's at them and not with them. All right.
Yes, exactly right. Because the choppy your pee-pee off was funny.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man. I think times have changed, but maybe it's just me. And not that, but it's not even like... I know what it is. I think it's... If it's funny, it's okay if it's offensive. But if it sucks, you're just like, no, there's no fucking...
Yeah, then it's just offensive.
yeah, you know what I mean? It's like... So, there you go. Are we wasting our time with WWE to get better? It's a lost cause. I don't know. It depends if you're a fan. Like, I mean, are we wasting our time being a Buccaneers fan? I just assume everyone likes the Buccaneers like me. It just depends. I mean, how big your fandom is. And I think there's still hope. NXT gives me hope. Triple H maybe taking over one day gives me hope. You know, what takes away that hope? Like, last year, before Roman Reigns' push, I'd be like, of course it's going to get better. Look at NXT, look at Triple H. But what scares me now is the way they pushed Roman Reigns. The way they pushed Roman Reigns, that scares me. You know what I mean? Not Roman Reigns himself, the way they told the story. Like, here's Roman Reigns, he's invincible. I'm like, fuck, we're in trouble. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, there you go. AC WRIMS24, what's good, Dave and guys? And my dog, Wrestling Ranted, you doing Vince McMahon's voice is priceless. LOL, you just kill me. And I would love to watch your show of you imitating that voice all through the show.
That is an idea that is in the works.
Oh, all right. I think are you going to do a comedy gimmick? You should do like a comedy, do you do like a Tommy Toehold meets Vince McMahon type show?
Well, actually, what it was going to be is, and I'm still trying to work. I need to get other people to do it who can do voices, but I wanted to get a WWE conference call. And Vince McMahon have different.
I can only do angry white guy. That's it. Like, it was so funny because like in Japan, if you're not Japanese, you can be an actor. So like, and same thing with girls being models. Like someone's like, I'm a model, bitch. You're white in Japan. You're white in Japan. You're not a model. But same thing with actors. So like one time, my friend and me, we went out for this movie part, and they're like, "Oh, you got to be this white angry guy." And I did the part, and they're like, this is an amazing actor. And they spoke so highly of me. And then they're like, all right, be a white, concerned guy with a confused look on his face. And they're like, no, you're still angry. I'm like, oh, I guess I'm typecast. It's like the only part I'm good for. So, like, literally, I'm part of a movie agent. And whenever parts come across, because, they like to have foreigners play foreigners or whatever, you know what I mean? They'll be like, angry white guy. And they're like, oh, we got a guy. So I'm a typecast actor. So you might see me. If you're in Japan and you see an angry white guy, it could be me. But
Dave, they as an angry white guy? Never.
But the best part is, I kid you not, for the first part, it was just pure luck. They thought I was like a great actor. They're like, Diamond in a rough. Now act like you're in love. Like, I'm in love! And they're like, all right. We understand.
Wow. Awesome.
They should have popped for Cesaro and Kid, she says. LOL. Yeah, that's from Total Elimination. Lennox Wooderson, how long has WWE overall consistently been bad to you? I've never been a WWE fan or WWF fan, so they've been bad for a really long time.
Yeah. I can't say they're consistently bad because if they were.
I thought Jericho winning the tournament. I think the invasion angle is a lot better than people. If you go in reverse, if you watch the invasion angle without watching WCW, it's not that bad. But if you dreamed and read the PWI magazines and watch WCW, it's horrible. But if you go back, the invasion angle really wasn't that bad. It's just that it did not live up to the impossible hype because they refused to sign people. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Well, they couldn't sign people. Would you work? Are you Kevin Nash ain't going to give up $3 million a year to come work? Fuck that. And blow out his quad again. No, I say, like I said, I don't think they're consistently bad because for the simple fact that you'll get, all right, it's bad. We watch Raw, and then you get Roman Reigns you'll get Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins, and John Cena at Royal Rumble. You're like, that's fucking awesome. That's what we wait a month to see. Let's see if they can do that again, and then you got to wait another month for them to do something awesome again. So it's a roller coaster. It's not so much like it's just flat bad, because if it was, I don't think I'd be watching this shit. It's every once in a while you get something really good, and then nowadays we're just kind of clinging to those Brock Lesnar destroying John Cena moments at SummerSlam. You know what I mean?
Well, I think WWE is good at one thing, and right now, I think this is what Neville is. I think WWE is good enough to be like, hey, if you're a real pro wrestling fan, here's a bone for you. Like, I think they have enough that they know pro wrestling fans love pro wrestling and will follow you, but as soon as you're about to give up, they'll throw you a bone. You know what I mean? Like, oh, man, fucking wrestling fucking sucks, CM Punk Punk Pop. Man, wrestling sucks, Daniel Bryan. Man, fucking Daniel Bryan, CM Punk's gone, Neville. Like, they always have that, let's throw out a little bit of, meat so the wolves keep following the cart.
And they've got a whole fridge full of meat to throw at you because they're going to okay, well, now we'll give you Sami Zayn. And now we're going to give you, that's the way it is. I think the worst thing that they give, which is also the best thing they give, is hope.
Yeah. Lennox Wooderson, no, it's just true. Lennox Wooderson, I think the WWE lost concept of faces and heels. Often they said, as long as the audience is making noise, they used to be lifelong faces and heels. I agree with this. I don't think there should be heels and faces that cemented if you have great athletes. But the thing is, they use this as a defense for their shitty things. And, yeah, as far as they're making noise, well, that's bullshit. And not you, Lennox Wooderson, Vince McMahon. Because Big Show, Sheamus, Cena, and all those guys get piped in crowd noise. So you can't be like, as long as they're making noise, oh, here's my favorites, make sure that we pipe in crowd noise. You know what I mean? It's just bullshit.
Yeah. To them also making noise is the fact that we talk about them, so.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, look,
but the thing is, the ratings go down and all that, so,
Yeah, the ratings.
WWE is perfect at defending themselves.
Exactly. Never mind the ratings and all those IWC guys, they talk about John Cena, so see, he's relevant. See, which is kind of the reason why I am on this crusade to try to minimize my Cena talk. Maybe if we all did that, they'd get rid of the fucker. If nobody mentioned him ever again on a podcast, maybe he'd go away.
Yeah, but I just think they would, because I agree with you on some things, but also they would just pipe in crowd noise. You know what I mean? Like, there's that commercial where Daniel Bryan comes out and the arena's empty.
Yeah.
We're nothing without you. No, that's John Cena's biggest fucking heart on. You would love there can be no fucking audience.
Yes, no one can criticize me.
Yeah, I don't know, because, like, it's a double-edged sword. Because if you're not loud and ruin their storylines, you're never going to get a good WrestleMania. And I don't know. It's interesting. It's an interesting theory. I just think we don't talk about it. They're like, see, people like them. You know what I mean? I think what WWE does better than anyone is just spin shit. I really think McMahon, they should turn it around, call it McMahon Marketing. Because I think they're the best marketing company in the world. They just suck at entertainment and wrestling.
Well, you're right about that because, as we know, a former YouTube podcaster pretty much made their entire channel off of railing on John Cena. So, again, they're going to look at that and go, well, see, their whole thing's made off of shitting on John Cena. So, it is a double-edged sword.
They're just going to spin it. They're just going to spin it no matter what.
Exactly. Exactly.
Kevin Eck, are we getting a best of 100 series with Reigns versus Big Show? Reigns has won at least the last 50 in a row against them, so maybe just one more win and the feud can end. Yeah, him and Rusev, same thing. Rihanna Jackson, the queen of the internet infantry, says, do you mean Matt Hardy's GoFundMe campaign? Yeah, that's it. Go look up Matt Hardy GoFundMe. It's by far one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen in my life. Franielli says, on another topic, what are your thoughts on the new Joker? Franielli loves asking about the new Joker. I'm going to have to start a Let's Play so Franielli can ask me questions outside of wrestling. I'm not that big of a Batman fan, and I think being Joker is probably a lot harder than being Batman. I think people judge who's Joker. Not a lot, but you had Jack Nicholson. You had, who's the guy that broke Brokeback Mountain? I forgot his name. I don't mean
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger was amazing. And even in the 60s when it was campy, or 50s, whenever the fuck that show was.
Yeah.
Joker was still an amazing character.
Joker's a hard character to fuck up.
Yeah, and his look and stuff, I don't know, I'm going to give it time, but with that, I'm not as passionate with them as I am with Ninja Turtles and Spider-Man, so I understand why people would be passionate and fucking freaking out, because I did with Ninja Turtles, but then again, well, here's one thing that Joker's got going for him. He's not in a Michael Bay production.
Yet. Well, somebody had a good meme where they had Jack Nicholson's Joker, mobster, Heath Ledger's Joker, anarchist, and this Jared Leto Joker, psychopath, because that's what he looks like. He looks like a psycho. So I guess that's the bent they're going to go on. We'll see if they can pull it off. I did hear a rumor though that the tattoos are not really a part of the character, so you're not going to see them in the movie. But we'll see.
But you got to remember, there's probably a lot of feelers. There's a lot of pressure for Hollywood to make blockbusters. And the thing is, with comic books, you have the thing. If you're not Michael Bay hiding your shit and be like, no, they gotta like it. Oh, fuck, change it last second. They don't like it. If you're not that, you can just put out feelers. You'd be like, this is what Joker's going to look like. You're like, bet your fucking ass, no, it's not. Like, okay, we gotta change this. We gotta change that.
There's an enormous amount of pressure on DC, though, because they're the Johnny-come-latelys to this whole gig. Again, they're kind of in the WCW slot. If we're going to compare this to wrestling, they're debuting Monday Nitro after Raw's been on for 3 years. Marvel's been doing their shit for years, and now they've got to make a big noise. So
I'm a Marvel fanboy, so this is making me feel good. I'm like rubbing butter on my body. Tell me how Marvel's better.
Oh, that's just without a question. Marvel is they are the standard right now.
We are fucking opening up a war that we do not want to open up, sir. Yes. Moving on to the next comment. Lennox Winter says SmackDowns don't matter. Raw's mostly the same. It doesn't matter. The last 8 pay-per-views are just fillers. WWE trying to run off its fans with all the stalling. Will the stalling end? I just think they're so good at marketing and don't know what the fuck they're doing that's the result. When you don't know what you're doing creatively, but you're having marketing, that's it right there. You know what I mean? Yep. I think it's a perfect storm. WWE is a perfect storm of all the marketing and no talent.
And there are people out there who are fans of the marketing and not the talent.
Oh, I'll tell you, the WWE marketing is amazing, and that's fucking. You got to follow it as it is. Carlos says, "Hey Dave, Neville did mention Owen." Oh, okay, yeah. I'm sorry I missed that. I apologize. Sometimes I make mistakes, and that. Lennox Wooderson, what do you think Vince giving up the company after WrestleMania 32? I would love it. I would absolutely love it. And he would break the. I would love, like, because the thing is, I hate Vince McMahon. I really do. I'm not a big Vince McMahon ass kisser. I do hate Vince McMahon, but I think it's such a perfect ending. Vince McMahon, he gets all his favorite old guys together for one last show, breaks the attendance record, and steps down. It's such a. Because the thing is, it's such a beautiful way to end a Vince McMahon story. You know what I mean? In life, career, and all that. It's such a great way to end that story. But I have a fear that it's going to end with him just getting older and older, grumpier and grumpier, and the product shittier and shittier. I just think this is a great way. I think this is a great way. WrestleMania 32 is a great. I mean, to me, it's the perfect way to end it. You know, and not only that, but even if you hate the product, you'll be on board. You're like, well, it's Vince's last event. You know what I mean? I don't know about you. I'm paying for the pay-per-view. I'm buying it. I might even buy tickets if it's Vince McMahon's last event. But, you know, granted, they might be fucking swindling me, but I'll fall for it. I'll fall for it.
Well, two things. What do you always say about WWE? They're not in the business of being what?
Awesome.
Okay. So there you go. And Vince, again, Stone Cold's podcast, Vince said, I'm 69 years old, and I dare say I'm in great shape, probably better shape than you. So he has no intention of going anywhere until he kicks the fucking bucket. So
here's my thing with the in shape. Like, that makes sense if it's a media guy. But Steve Austin broke his fucking neck and damaged your body for you. Like, ain't that kind of a dick move? That's like, you know, a president coming up to me and be like, well, you can't move your left arm, you broke your neck, your back, and concussions, and I'm in better shape than you. Be like, hashtag thanks Obama / Bush. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, how the fuck can you be that delusional? It would be like a cop, me and you are cop buddies, and I jump in front of a bullet for you, and I'm in a fucking wheelchair, and you're like, you know what? I'm in better shape than you.
Yeah. You want to go running? Oh, you can't. Damn.
It's just one of those, I think, when people are such shitty people, they don't realize it. Raymond Jamieson says, I give it a correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't want to shoot myself if it was okay. I have a stumped idiot question for you. Which current WWE superstar is having or has had the worst singles run? All right. Yeah, we can put that in. I'm putting it in the stumped idiot. I plan on doing a lot more Stumped Idiot. So if you guys have Stumped Idiot questions where it's a good enough question to have its own video, just mention, hey, put this in the Stumped Idiot box. And that's where it goes. Boop, boop, boop. Raymond, you're in the idiot box. Context is everything. Lennox Wooderson says, if you could sign guys to Fantasy Wrestling Promotion, who would they fill these roles? This is a big question. So you're going into Fantasy Wrestling. I mean, not Fantasy Wrestling box. You are going into idiot box, Lennox Wooderson. Lennox Wooderson's the king of the idiot box. Context is everything. I gotta paraphrase this because someone's gonna get pissed off with my stupid sayings. All right, power play. I love how Axel was yelling at Sandow for doing exactly what he's doing with Hulk Hogan's gimmick. Yeah, I love that too. Matthew Bryan says, "Yo, what's up? I'm so pumped up for KOTT." Is he talking about King of the Ring, or do you think he's talking about something else? Is there a KOTT that I don't know about?
KOTT. I don't know what KOTT is.
I'm trying to think. What is the ROH thing? I'm guessing he's saying King of the Ring, but that stuff, I don't know. I could be wrong. Total Nonstop Action said, good night, guys. Peace out. And Mr. TNA, the one and only a la carte. Fuck yeah, from America. TNA, Total Nonstop Action really loves the fucking a la carte. He's up 2-1 on you, by the way, sir. Let's see. Lennox Wooderson. You're getting all pissed. Like, fucking, I'm going to put it in my contract. American a la carte can't be here. All right. Lennox Wooderson says, Harper is the best big man in the business to me. I agree. Spoiler. Oh, Lennox Wooderson, don't do that. I'm skipping it. It's probably a joke because he's spoiling stuff he told not to spoil, but I'm not even going to risk it. I'm not even going to risk the joke, Lennox Wooderson.
Yeah, I'm not going to read it. Yeah, I don't want to hear it. Not going to read it.
Tom Menian says, I was exactly the same way at main event, skimming over my Facebook. 0 fucks given all around. Option D, Lesnar. P.S. Been listening for a few weeks now. You deserve more reviews and subs. Great content, funny and insightful. Thank you. And now I'm going to refresh, and I think I'm going to have to close this off because I got to take my kids to judo. We're 26-2. We're 26-2. I think it's time at 26-2, 26 likes, 2 thumbs down. I think it's time for a world title shot. You know, if we don't get the world title shot now at 26-2, who knows? Those thumb downs will come and we'll never get it. All right. Yeah, there's a lot. Let's see.
Spam.
No spam tonight. Not yet, anyway, according to YouTube. Do you think the reason WWE is so bad because it's old? I think it's because Vince is old. I don't think it's because WWE is old. I mean, the Yankees are old, and when they're in first place, that just adds. The Lakers are old, and when they're in first place winning, you know what I mean? I don't think it's because it's old. Tradition actually brings fans. I only think the reason why they're doing so good is because it's old. Can you imagine WWE being this shitty and it's the brand new product? No one's watching it. Matthew Hedner said, "Well said, sir." Thank you. Carlos said, "Dave, are you going to do a push and punishment with TNA? I'm putting it in the box." In the box you go. Maybe you can join us for one of those. Since I stole your idea.
Since it's my gimmick to begin with.
The best part is, I kid you not, I felt like awkward because first off, you did the push Berry. What was it? Push Berry.
Pusher Berry.
Yeah. Push Berry fire. You did that, and here's the worst part. You came up with the idea, or a spin on the idea, right?
Yep.
And I was supposed to be a part of that show, but it was my son's birthday, so I canceled and sent Boom Boom, which is like sending fucking Robin when you want Batman.
Aww. Dave said that, Booms, not me. Dave said
that. And then, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I missed out on it. I apologize. Sorry. And then everyone in the comments were like, you should do it. You should do it. You should do it. And I couldn't get a hold of you. And as soon as I opened up the show, I'm like, I am stealing Wrestling Ranted's idea, and I feel horrible for it.
Yes. Take the pusher buried. I'll come up with more. I'm full of ideas, believe me.
Don't worry, I'll steal them. But the thing is, I notice other people steal my ideas. And I guess it happens, But at least be honest. Be like, yo, dude, I stole this idea off. Because, I don't know. I love stand-up comedy, even though I don't do it because I'm horrible. But I respect, the art of it, especially if you're really good at it. If you suck, you suck. But stand-up comedy is one of those things. If you're really good at it, that's a skill. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I love when someone famous credits someone for a joke. It wins me over. It wins me over, and you're like, oh, hey, this joke is Tom's joke. I don't know why. It's just people. I don't know. I got off topic.
But if you're Carlos Mencia and you're just stealing everybody's jokes, then that's a different story. And Joe Rogan will put his foot in your ass for it.
All right, we're got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more comments, and we're wrapping this bad boy up. I am Mikey. Do you think King of the Ring should have had more talent involved than any talent you would have traded spots you feel would be? I don't think it should have been more talent. I think it should have just been on one show. And the only talent I disagree with was just Sheamus because he's a golden boy. So, if you take away Sheamus, it's a complete mystery of who's going to win. Even if Sheamus doesn't win, everyone believes Sheamus is going to win. You know what I mean? Even if he doesn't. So if you take away Sheamus and put someone else, it's amazing. Monday Night Jaw. TNA, you listen to Coco too? TNA, you listen to Coco too? Oh, I guess he's talking to TNA, the person. I was confused.
Yeah.
And you got a shout out? Fine. Nice work. See you at the next RW. Go Army. # Go Army. Is that an insult because I'm a devil dog? Or is that an inside thing that I'm not sure? That to me seems like an inside comment that we shouldn't have read out loud. Raymond Jameson says it's like a drive-by of Barry Horowitz.
Oh, yes.
All right. I Am Mikey says the Authority is so dead and beyond dragged on. I agree. I Am Mikey says, in my opinion, I'm still a pro wrestling fan because of alternatives that are on fire. And the fact that I'm in an e-fetting community, M-Spire online network, which is really fun environment for pro wrestling fans, plus Toronto. We have some great pro wrestling independent promotions like Smash, Alpha One, that work close with Ring of Honor and Pro Wrestling Grill and other major promotions. WWE kills my fandom by my 6-year-old self would never know how trash the product have become now in my 20s. Laugh my ass off. Yeah, there is a lot of alternatives, and if you're not happy with Raw, you should definitely check them out. And all that, but also having good alternatives makes you stay as a pro wrestling fan, even if you don't quit watching WWE or Raw when it's in its bad times. That's why I love the Beyond Wrestling Raw alternative. I thought that was the best Raw ever because when it sucked, I just turned over and saw Ricochet and Young Bucks. You know what I mean? I wish, if I had enough money, I would want to do a Raw alternative every week. You know what I mean? Just because Raw is so much better if you're like, oh, the Bellas are on, let's see what's on YouTube. You know what I mean? I think it adds to it. Why don't you call out those so-called smart broadcasters like I know who they are? AC Dub Ribs 24. Maybe I'll do that one day on a separate video. I just don't like doing it because I like focusing on it. Usually, when I make content, I don't consume content. If I'm not making content, I consume it. If I'm making content, I kind of don't consume it. Usually, it's just people going, "Oh," it's either people that hate my show going, "Look, this is what I like," or it's people going, "Can you believe this guy? Grill him." But usually, I just pay attention to my own stuff or my team. Like, hey, you want to work together? Okay, cool, let's work together. But if you don't want to work together, all right, good luck on your own thing. But usually, it's people sending me stuff. But yeah, I mean, people just like what they like. I just think in general, we should stop saying we're smart. I just think, it sounds stupid. I think it sounds stupid. And I think you should be a review show. You should say negative things. If you want to be all negative and get that group of audience behind you, then you should be it. But all positive, I don't grasp that aspect of it. Because, I understand, all right, if I consider me and Wrestling Rant in the middle. I think Wrestling Rant is a little more positive than me. I'm a little more negative. But in the YouTube genre, I think we're in the middle. But I think, there's super negative people that get tons of views because people are like, yeah, I feel that way too. And I think people in the middle get a better community because they're like, oh, my voice can be heard. I can agree and disagree. We can have a conversation. Because those are the conversations you'd like to have at a bar, or at a dinner table, at a lunch table. You know what I mean? But the all-positive shows, those are the ones that get me. Because I don't understand how they have an audience. That's like a mystery. I'm not even player hating on them. It's not like, hey, dude, he has tons of audience. I don't understand. If you want to hear nothing but positive things about WWE, why not just stay on WWE Network? I don't understand. I'm going to go to YouTube and hear how great WWE is. You can just stay on WWE to hear how great WWE is. So I guess that's the part that confuses me.
Well, it's one word to solve your confusion: validation. So they get validation from listening to a show that agrees with what they want to believe in. And
yeah, I mentioned YouTube is going to be replaced with a mirror one day. All right, yeah. I think we got to wrap this up. While we're wrapping this up, Wrestling Rankin, why don't you tell everyone what they can do for you? What can the Internet Infantry do for you today?
The Internet Infantry can check out webchannel24.com/wrestling with 3 S's. And we have lots of videos, short review videos, top 10 list, commentary, retrospective reviews. If we are finishing up the 1983 to 1985 retrospectives with Starrcade 85, which I watched 2 weeks ago and haven't finished the recording yet. So I'm going to try to do that this week. And if you guys want to check that out, you can go and learn about all the major wrestling events in North America from 1983 to 1985, covering Starrcade, the first WrestleMania, and the Great American Bash, the first one of those. We're also on YouTube and Twitter, so you definitely can check us out there. We appreciate all the comments and everything else. We'll be doing another Agents of Smark coming up in a couple months, which will be featuring a lot of different podcasters. Maybe Dave will be able to join us next time. And
I'll just steal your topics.
And yes, I'll come up with another segment on there, and he can steal that for his show too. And then I will eventually be having a new show or a new website that'll be promoting all my podcasts, because a lot of people ask, what are the other ones I do? I do a bunch of different YouTube channels. So I'll be letting you guys know about that in the future once the new website's up.
And plus, we're working on a secret project together that's going nowhere fast.
Yes, there is a secret project that once my city stops burning, I will hopefully be able to finish what I need to finish.
You and your excuses.
I know. Damn Armageddon. I got freaking. You know what they called it today? Some guy said Baltimore looks like Grand Theft Auto if you get all the stars.
That's horrible. Well, be safe. Be safe. This is a good question, and it's kind of off topic, but if you had to fire one of your favorite people in the world, who would it be, and would you feel bad about it? Me personally, I've been self-employed way too long. Let me put it this way. I literally hire people to talk me out of firing people. Jerry runs KocoSports for me. Oh, I fired my brother. My brother has worked for me. I'll fire him. I just been self-employed too long. So would I feel bad about it? No. I don't feel bad about it so much. Like, I would call Wrestling Ranton and be like, hey, me and you were partners. You're fired. And then I'd call you back and be like, why aren't we friends? Like, that's how fucked in the head I am. Yeah, I know. Ask Jerry. Jerry never comes on the show because he's afraid to get fired. But ask Jerry. I will fire you and don't know why you're mad at me. That's just me. So, like, I literally have people in my office be like, no, Dave, you can't fire. I'm very Steve Jobs-ish in one aspect of my life. I will fire you like a motherfucker. You know what I mean? Because, like, here's the thing. You'd be like, this guy, he's the only reason the business is alive. Fire him. But if he goes away, fire him. All right, Dave, I'll be in charge of hiring and firing. But as far as WWE, who I'd fire, some of my favorite guys, it just depends on the salary. It depends. A lot of it depends on salary. You know what I mean? Would I fire, like my favorite guy is Dolph Ziggler. Would I fire him? Possibility. I mean, I don't know the situation. A lot of it depends on salary. A lot of it depends on return. A lot of it depends on push. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, my biggest problem, I guess, is not firing people. My biggest problem is not understanding why my friends don't want to be friends with me anymore. Like, I think it's the opposite. I'm like the next step. I'm like, hey, WrestleRanton, me and you are best friends, partners. I fired you. What do you mean you don't want to go get a pizza? You know what I mean? Because that's how much I separate, and that's how long I've been self-employed. Who would you fire in WWE who's one of your favorites? And do you feel bad firing people? Because I'm sure being in media, you've had employees.
Who's one of my favorites? It can't be somebody I dislike, huh?
Well, I guess he's saying, can you make a tough decision and feel bad? I guess that's the point of it.
Gotta make a tough decision. Honestly, and this is going to be controversial, I'd probably let Daniel Bryan go right now.
Yeah.
For his own good. I'd say stop.
I would definitely give him a good package, a going away package.
I give him a severance package. I'd give him a job. They gave it to Corey Graves. They gave Corey Graves an announcing job. Now, Daniel Bryan's no good doing that, but I'd find something for him to do, be a road agent. He can host Tough Enough. He can.
Hosting Tough Enough would be perfect for him.
Yeah, he can do shit like that. But I tell him, look, you can't.
I would find a way how to get him out in front of crowds. Maybe a manager or something, but I don't know.
Yeah, he's got to do something. He can even go down to NXT and do and be take William Regal's spot, whatever it is. But for your health, and I'm saying this completely shoot right now. I think we all feel this way. We don't want to see you break your neck in the ring. We don't want to see that. So it might be time. And if I'm management, I'd probably tell this guy, hey, it's time. Don't worry about it. We know you're trying to get you're trying to get a nest egg and everything, but we're gonna give you a severance package. We're gonna give you something to do. We're gonna get you a job, but you can't perform in the ring anymore because we don't want anybody else ever dying in our ring ever again.
Yeah. So yeah, but and that's the thing when it comes to like firing people. I'm stealing a line from Gary Vaynerchuk because I think he's the king of marketing and media, and I look up to him. If you're interested in marketing, check out Gary Vaynerchuk. But he has a saying, and I don't know if it's his because people quote each other. Care about who you're firing as much as when you cared about when you hired them. Like a lot of times when people fire them, they're like, "You're fired. Fuck you. I hate you." And I think no, you cared about that person. They worked hard. Even if they suck, be like, "Hey, dude, it didn't work out. Thanks for the you know what I mean?" I think a lot of times Vince McMahon in Hollywood makes firing look fun. Where in reality, there's professionals that get paid to fire people. You know what I mean? Firing sucks, dude. Yeah, it fucking sucks. But with that said,
the only times I've ever had to do it is I usually would tell people I can't help you anymore in this position, so it's probably time for you to move on because we just don't have the resources to be able to get you to where we need you to be. It's a very diplomatic way of firing somebody.
Yeah. Well, my whole thing is fucking like this is when you're on thin ice. If you ever work for a cocoa industry, because I have companies like 3 or 4 different countries, when the response to you is, well, if you can't handle it, we'll let you go. That's kind of like your warning shot. You know what I mean? Like, oh, is your job too stressful? Well, if you don't want it, we can let you go. That's the warning shot. And then when you still keep doing it and you suck, like, hey, bro, thank you. Depends on how loyal, how great they are. You know what I mean? You just treat them with respect.
Actually, I
know
totally
what would be
forgot.
really good? Know what you do? If you're a nerdy guy like me, remember how nice hot chicks broke up with you. And remember that. Like, it's not you, it's me.
Buddy.
There's no secret. The reason, because people are like, so no, because we do audio on the longer shows, and I might bring video back. But there's always people like, they do video. No, I'm not a very good looking man. Why would you want video? Anyway, like, comment, subscribe to both me and Wrestling Rantin. Check out KocoSports.net. Me and Wrestling Rantin are working on a secret project, and if we fail miserably, we just will never mention it again. But we want to keep hyping it up just in case we don't fail miserably. So be excited to be let down. That straight up could be a tagline for Payback.
Come on, man. I'm going to that show. I have to hope that I'm going to get some kind of quality to go sit in an arena with.
Have you seen the matches they listed so far?
Well,
Hub stuff.
Well, shit, it might not even happen at this point. We don't even know if they might shut it down like they did the Orioles game today. So let's hope. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise, whatever. But I'm going to hope that Payback is good because I will be there in the arena and I will be live broadcasting my show from the arena afterwards. So internet infantry, pray for me that Payback is a good show.
I pray to funk the bookings are in your favor. But who knows? The good thing is usually when WWE pay-per-views suck, they're usually, they don't suck as bad as you thought they were going to suck.
True.
I don't know if that was supposed to be a compliment. All right. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out KocoSports.net. I would stay on longer and answer a lot of questions. If you have questions, we missed it, just bring them to the top, and I'll put it in a Stump the Idiot. Any questions or comments we missed, I apologize, but I got to get my son to swimming and, be a dad and stuff. I mean, it's great, being a work-home dad because then, I can do podcasts, but, there is some responsibilities, and this is one of them. So, like, comment, subscribe, KocoSports.net, Wrestling Rantin, thank you.
Yep.
Internet Infantry, thank you. The American Alucard, let's not forget about him. The American Alucard, like, comment, subscribe with him too, and thank him very much. Thank you all for being so awesome. And with that, I am over.